All right, 3, 2, 1.
San Pellegrino. That's all I had to say.
That's how you're gonna start this one?
Nope.
That's not even our sponsor.
You've you've gone downhill so badly.
All right, fine. Welcome to Verbal Laxative. I'm Jason.
I'm Hassan.
Simpson.
Bryan.
And Brian's back today, and welcome to another episode of Verbal Laxative. The full crew is here. We're trying it out in my basement. So instead of the upstairs cramped 1-bedroom 5x5 we're like recording, we're all just like sweating in one small room. So now we're gonna see how this is like.
Yeah, that'll paint a picture for everyone.
Yeah.
So we used to record in a closet, and now we have an open space area
Yeah.
with clutter.
Yeah.
Imagine if we actually did do webcam or like video.
We
It'd be
should.
pretty boring, but
Yeah, it would look pretty bad.
it would look very bad.
Well, I mean, it depends on the camera, right? As long as it's pointing at how we stage it, then it's fine. Because like if you look at Rooster Teeth, behind the scenes, it doesn't look as nice as what they have in
Yeah,
front
but
of the
they have
camera.
like a freaking couch and like everything all set up nice, backdrop.
Yeah, dude, this is just
This
my
is
basement,
a
man. I got
unfinished basement.
boxes and shit.
All we need to
everywhere.
do is have a green screen, right? Because then we could do whatever backdrop we want.
All we need
We
to
still
have
don't
is
have the space though.
all we need to have is money.
If San Pellegrino actually becomes a sponsor, then we'll have enough for a
If
couch.
they did off of that, then you'd take back everything.
Can you imagine the president of San Pellegrino's like, sure, what the hell?
He's like, I've been an avid fan. I've been one of those European fans you never even know of.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, I'd take it even if they just offered like one free can a month or something. I'd take it.
I will say, like, just regular San Pellegrino, like sparkling water, I
Oh,
don't like it.
Yeah. no.
I don't like tonic water.
I
Neither
feel
do
like
I like the flavored stuff, like the.
the flavor is
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Flavor is just like pop, kind of,
Yeah.
more or less.
it's basically more or less pop. Yeah,
But just like soda water, no.
but they're good if you mix it with like juice. That's what I do to dilute my juice.
No. Well, okay, like you gotta mix something with it to make it taste good. It's just by itself, it's just shit.
Yeah, but they always offer you those sparkling water or carbonated water at the
Yeah,
restaurants.
but it costs more too.
It does cost more.
I don't want to pay
Is
for that.
soda water meant to be consumed on its own? I thought it was always
I hope
for like
not.
mixer.
No, but some people like drinking that shit.
Well, tonic is actually sweet, whereas club soda is like tasteless.
Okay.
Like tonic water, if you drink it itself, is like water with sugar.
It's gross. It just tastes like nothing, anyways.
Yeah. So if you're ever trying to lose weight, club soda and tonic is the best way to do it. Not
Nope.
gin
Club
and
I just
soda
drink
and
normal
tonic.
water.
Oh, sorry,
I don't
club
lose
soda
weight.
and gin. Gin
Okay.
and club soda.
Or just water, yeah. Just fucking, what do you do?
The-
Gin for?
Why don't you
The
do gin
healthy
and
way.
tonic then?
Well, tonic is the issue. Tonic has sugar
Yeah,
in
but
it.
how much? Well, I don't want to judge people, but how much do you drink that it affect your weight?
Well, I think
Have you actually tried cutting out sugar? It's
it's tough. It's an
Almost
amazing. Like
impossible.
sauces is really difficult. Like everything has
A lot
sugar
of
in it.
food has sugar. All the best food.
But if you're ever trying to lose weight, the easiest way to, or the best thing to cut out is sugar water, because you gain a lot just from drinking like pop.
I just drink
Oh, yeah.
water. I've lost 0 weight from
Boom! Debunked!
too poor to
this
have.
is water.
I don't
Yeah,
count that.
okay, this
I mean,
McDonald's
come
cup
on.
here, Jason.
That doesn't count. People can't see.
Yeah, Jason,
It's water for all you know.
The
I just
last-
poured this bottle of water in there.
the last couple
Uh-huh.
times,
I
actually
believe
all the
you.
times that we've recorded, I've only seen you eat McDonald's.
But he's
every
cut-
time that I've had food.
I
Over
think
here.
I think we figured out why you're not losing weight.
No,
Jason.
he goes on like the poverty meal plan. Even at work, he goes to Subway. He gets like a foot long.
Yeah.
He eats he eats
Oh,
half
the
of it for
colon?
lunch.
Oh, smart.
And then he saves the last. Smart. He saves the last of it for dinner.
Actually, when I go McDonald's, I try to order the most healthiest thing, and I read that one of the healthiest item to order is the regular hamburger.
Why even?
Which one's a
what-
regular hamburger?
Just the
Just-
plain hamburger.
Yeah, just
like
the plain
bun,
hamburger.
meat,
Bun, meat, some pickles, some onions,
Ketchup.
some ketchup, yeah,
Why
and
is-
then small fries.
Why are you still trying to be healthy if you're going to McDonald's?
Well,
That's the point
sometimes
of
you
it.
just need convenience. I mean, the
That's-
challenge with any good life,
Yeah.
they're near McDonald's. So like once you're done
That's
working
why
out,
I went for dinner today at McDonald's. Sponsor us. Yeah, just because it's like I live so close to one, and then I had to come here. So
I think everybody lives close to McDonald's.
Yeah, that's their plan.
they figured out where people live and they like planted their shops
They've-
nearby.
it's within walkable distance. That's what I mean by close. Most people wouldn't walk the distance of like a few blocks, though.
Right, because if you've got all those greasy calories in you, why walk them off, right?
I
You want
know
to
it doesn't-
retain all of them, right?
What items do you guys order from McDonald's?
Nuggets, fries, the cheap stuff, junior chicken.
I got a
McDoubles
quarter
and shit.
pounder, fries, and.
I haven't gone to McDonald's in a while.
Really? Oh, I usually get coffee there. They have really good coffee.
No, their
Yeah, the
coffee's
coffee's good.
Their coffee's good, yeah.
Coffee and an apple pie is usually what I get.
Oh, okay.
I don't like. I'll tell you though, I don't like the breakfast
goods?
menu.
Oh, breakfast, oh, like the
No.
egg McMuffin, stuff like
Like
that?
no, it's okay. Like for breakfast food and shit, it's okay. But like I would rather just get the lunch and dinner. Like I'd rather,
I'd
just
rather get
fries
like
and-
a burger.
So you'd rather
Burgers
just
and shit.
have a burger for breakfast.
Yeah, I would like it. Like if they just had 24/7 burgers and fries, then that I'd be happy. Like A&W does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, NW does that. But also NW, they do like eggs, like scrambled or like.
Yeah, I know,
kinda
but
a
like you
classic.
can order at breakfast. You can just get like
burger
teen
if you
burger,
want.
and it'll take a little long to make it, but they'll make it. I tried one time. It was like McDonald's lunch starts at 11. One
They
time
do,
I went
yeah.
there at 10:55 or something. It was like one of those like Walmart McDonald's.
Yeah.
Like, hey, can I get Big Mac? Like, oh no, sorry, we can't serve
Oh,
it
yeah.
yet.
Oh, it's the same. It's
Most
the same
people
issue.
have the opposite issue as that.
no.
They want to get
They-
breakfast, but then they miss
okay,
the
I
cutoff
see.
at
Yeah, they're
11.
trying to
then-
sneak in breakfast
now-
at 11.
But now
breakfast
it's
is
now
all
it doesn't
day.
work. Now it doesn't matter because there's always all day breakfast.
Yeah,
So.
they fixed that problem.
They
but
fixed
he
that
has the
problem.
Yeah,
opposite
so
problem.
I got left behind. Thanks,
But
Obama.
that problem is like the same Starbucks problem where their computers won't allow them to enter that item
With
until
Starbucks-
like
can't
you know
order
like say the
Starbucks?
frappuccino, like it's like a $2 frappuccino after 2 or something like that. Between this
Can't get a
win-
frappuccino before 2.
No, you can't get it at that price.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like
no,
oh,
that's still
That's
different,
just
man.
A happy hour. kind
Yeah,
of
man,
thing,
that's
isn't it?
fucking different. You know, like I even told the guy said, I was like, okay, so why? I wasn't being a dick or anything. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, I'll wait till 11. And I was just curious. I'm like, so why is it that we gotta like you can only get it at 11? Like, is there no way you can get it before? And the guy said, no. Basically, this is what he said. Basically, they have to do like checks and shit right then in the morning, and there's like they can't they will. It's like company policy. You can't serve it until that's done. So even like, and it all finishes at 11 or whatever. So even at 10:55, you can't make it for me.
Wow.
makes sense. It's the
I wonder if they
franchisee.
Did they do some sort of research to be like, this creates just enough demand?
I think the guy's just bullshitting me, because that means that A&W doesn't give a shit, and they don't give a shit about checks, right? That's what he's implying.
Speaking of A&W, have you tried the Beyond Burger?
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Is it
they
good?
were doing on sale. It's like $3.49 or something.
Tastes just like meat.
I like it.
This is the future. If you want to have a
Good.
burger in space, that's how you're gonna get it.
I think
I
we
like
talked
it.
about this. It is good. They just have higher calories than regular burgers.
Yeah. It tastes like meat.
Did we talk
Yeah.
about this?
Yeah,
We
I don't
talked
know.
about it briefly. I talked about the calories.
I remember talking about that with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But they
no,
are tasty. I agree.
I like it since I can't do the meat options anyway.
What?
Wait,
You can't do
you can't do
any-
meat options?
If
'Cause
he-
it has
you
to be
can.
halal.
Yeah, if he stays hardcore at it, you can't.
Oh.
Ah.
So plants you don't need the halal.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Or seafood.
Or seafood.
Oh, wow.
So that's why
Poor
at
dolphins.
at McDonald's I get the filet fish. That's probably the only
I guess-
rich thing I get.
Isn't A&W doing a fish item? A cod burger?
They do that only in the summers. Like I think
Yeah.
it's just a limited time thing because they don't have it anymore. They had it for like July or something. That was it.
Tim Hortons had Beyond, but now
Yeah.
they're taking it away.
I
Oh,
tried.
it
Theirs.
wasn't
Theirs-
good on
theirs
Tim
was
Hortons.
weird. 'cause
yeah, I tried it once, and
It's not the same.
I went
It
with the
wasn't.
same expectations as the A&W Beyond
yeah,
Burger, and
because
I was
they're
like,
both
That's
Beyond.
what that's what I thought too. Yeah.
and I was like, it was.
It's terrible.
I don't
yeah.
get why though. It's the same source.
It might not be the same sort of. I
Not
don't know.
same
No, but
staff.
they're both
though.
Beyond Meat.
Yeah, they're
which is
from
the
the
like
Beyond company.
Yeah, it's the Beyond
Beyond
company.
Foods or whatever.
Don't know. Stumped. If
I-
anybody knows.
It was weird. I actually went like
Yeah.
literally thinking it's gonna taste just like the A&W.
Tim
one.
Hortons, if you want to address this, you can reach us at Twitter at verbal laxative.
Don't sue us.
Yeah, we just
we didn't
want
do
Sends
anything
us cease and
wrong.
desist
We're just asking
order.
a legitimate
I go there
question.
like every day. I mean, it's good.
Yeah,
Actually-
but Tim Hortons, your eggs just suck.
Oh well, no, not just their eggs.
Yeah,
their hash
let's-
browns garbage.
Yeah, like your food fucking sucks,
Like
man.
Tim Hortons, their quality is really bad. Like coffee's not as good. Like I'd rather go McDonald's and hash brown.
I always get a tea.
You get a tea?
Yeah, just get
It's just a
steep
bag
tea.
though. Don't you feel?
No,
You
I
get
get
steep
steep
tea,
tea.
so
Oh,
they
steep
brewed
tea.
it.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
extra shitty in a big pot.
It's just ready to go. You don't have to wait for it to be, just flavored water.
There's like a time where I don't know what they did. I don't know if it's just a pot that they brew their steep teas in, but there's some times where I would get a steep tea and it would just fuck me up for the morning, man.
Like the caffeine.
I thought
I
it was
don't
because
know,
the
I guess so.
sugar. Didn't you like stop putting sugar in it?
I don't even know. I don't get even get that feeling anymore. But it fucked me right up. If I really wanted to get like fucked up in the morning for work, I'm like, yeah, give me a steep tea, man.
I like Timmy's dark roast though.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Dark roast is good.
Yeah, I drink that one.
It's better than the regular.
Yes.
coffee.
Well, the
I agree.
regular just tastes like toilet water. Dark roast is just a more flavorful toilet water.
I think I would still go Timmy's for an ice cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, ice caps are good.
Like that's the one item that I would just go there for.
I don't like the McDonald's iced coffee thing.
Oh no, I don't like
I
their
don't like that.
blended
Yeah.
coffee. I just get black.
That's all right. Shall we go to the meaty topics we have
Actually,
tonight?
I thought we were on the meaty topics.
Yeah,
Right now.
this
Yeah,
is
meaty
beyond-
topic.
We're talking about
He
franchise.
wants to go beyond meat.
The Beyond Meat.
Actually, I
topic.
just want to do a quick segue.
Okay, yeah.
Something I didn't think were franchise were gas stations. They're also franchises.
Yeah, man.
Like Husky.
Wait, what did you think?
What did you?
I thought they were owned by the companies, but no, they just like sourced it out to franchises.
That would be insane cost for the companies to like.
The CEO of Esso has to go to all the Esso gas stations in the entire country. They just go on well, here's the annual inspection.
Well, I thought like if you work at say Shell at the gas station, you'd be like, oh yeah, I work for Shell.
Yeah, you get that. You get
But
that,
it's not the same.
You
it's
get the
not
company.
same,
You get the
really.
Shell memo each time.
Yeah, you get the Shell. You go to the Shell Christmas parties,
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
right? And you're like an engineer. You're like, yeah, I work for Shell, but you're actually at the gas station.
No, he's like, oh, I'm an engineer. Where are you? Oh, yeah, I'm fucking at the. I'm the gas.
Six every day.
Yeah, you
I'm at the
operate
gas
a
bar
pump.
at Bumfuckville. Oh yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah, I sent you an email the other day. Didn't you get that? No, I don't have a computer.
I have a cash register. I mean,
It looks like a computer.
One guy's like, so what do you think about the new enhanced recovery system? The other guy's like, fucking, I got robbed yesterday, man. They came into my store. It was like 3 guys, and they fucking stuck me up. So I guess you don't have any opinion on the enhanced recovery scheme.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
glad that we cleared that up for you.
Yeah, I just figured that out. I was just like, oh, I guess you can't say, you're an engineer at Shell if you work at the gas station. Doesn't.
Why would you be an engineer? You don't engineer anything, even if you're just at the gas bar.
Well, no, I'm
Oh,
just
you're
saying,
saying if you had a background
like
in
let's say you
engineering.
have
Oh,
an
that's
education in
what you're saying.
engineering,
So you.
and then you
We're
work
going
at
back to
Shell's
that
gas
conversation.
station.
That's some Michael Scott bullshit, man. Like you graduate from engineering school and then you go to like a gas station. You're like, oh yes, I am
times
very
are tough, Maybe someone actually tried this.
yeah. It's like look, I am a very big. I'm very enthusiastic about applying at Esso.
Well,
like,
this will come in handy when you're making your online profile, right? You're like, yeah, I'm an
Your
engineer
resume.
at Shell, and then they find out you're a gas attendant.
yeah.
Wait.
So how would that
what if
help
they
you?
don't find out?
Then you
They're
can
just
run
gonna
with
call
this
a reference.
facade
You
for
can
the
just
longest
ask
time.
someone to be a reference and be like, hey, you're my manager from Shell.
Usually people on online dating profiles, they don't really ask for references.
No,
Oh,
like
da-
I
wait,
can
you're doing,
imagine.
like, dating profile. I thought that was
Just going back to that.
Oh, jobs. Oh, okay.
Remember the conversation we had about whether if you
Yeah.
start,
Oh, yeah, if you work for YouTube, you work for Google?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Back
you
to
said that. Remember?
Yes, I said that.
that's
Man, you got a fucked up way of looking at the world.
that's what it looks like we're going back to.
Yeah, I'm just calling. It's the callback.
Yeah.
All right, that's what I had to say.
That was your segue.
That was my segue. Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Segue
Does
to a
it count
previous
as a
episode.
segue since right before that incident was like, let's move on to more meaty subject. Like, oh, let's segue. Like,
Well, we
That
were talking
was
about
setting up-
franchise at one point. That's what I was trying to segue
moving
there.
on.
I like that look that you get when we have to like basically move on to the topic, and you always look so disappointed that you didn't finish.
I wanted to say some more stuff.
The
Did you
viewers
have
want to know. No,
No, he doesn't.
that's-
Don't give
that's
him.
on-
Don't give
that's
him.
on.
Don't give it
Well,
to him.
if you had any other final thoughts on that, then
I'll interject if I do, or
Okay.
bring the conversation back.
He
I'm very
always
good at
does.
that.
He always does, man.
Okay, you were saying more meaty.
Well, did you have a more meteor topic to talk about? Because we're gonna jump into the our fearless leader's blackface.
Oh, actually, before we could do that,
Oh, okay.
we were.
So you
Fucking say it next time, man.
Hey. All right. Prior to this start of this, we were talking about iPhones. You guys were mentioning it last podcast, and
Yep.
you guys didn't really talk too much about it. But we were talking about some of the innovations of smartphones, and when Apple revealed iPhone 11, it seems like it was very underwhelming for many folks.
Very
Yeah.
much so.
Yeah.
And
That's how I summed it up.
Didn't we say that? You're just repeating stuff that we
yeah,
said.
no,
No, he's
I listened to the
listened,
podcast.
yeah.
That's why I'm repeating.
I mean, that was the one thing I was surprised. I'm like, oh fuck, you actually listened the other day.
And then you even called me out. You're like, this guy won't listen to this podcast.
So you had to listen in that.
Oh yeah, well,
Well, no, I listened to find out that he said that.
Well, okay, wait. Since you listened to
Right.
last episode, yeah, how was Baltimore?
Baltimore's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for sending that police
Yeah,
report.
oh, yeah, you would have died.
I would have died.
You just
they
fucked
found
us.
him in a crack den in a
It
corner.
was
all-
fantastic.
So you didn't turn out like Carlton, just adapted really well. It was the
Actually,
opposite.
I know Carlton from the Will Smith TV show, but I don't know the reference.
Fresh
That
Prince
is,
of
yeah,
Fresh
Fresh Prince.
yeah.
Remember when they go to Compton? He brings Carlton to Compton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then Carlton basically just fucking he transforms basically into like a guy, like a hood
Oh.
rat from
Gangster kinda
Compton.
guy.
Wow.
And then he's like, Will Smith's like, what the fuck? I don't believe this.
For a second there, I thought what Bryan was saying was like he actually met like Alfonso. Like, I was like, oh my
What?
god.
Get him on, man. No. But you did the opposite. You did not adapt at all. Your life was in danger.
Yeah, well, I was saved by the great people of Baltimore.
I'm just kidding,
The
man.
finest.
If anybody's actually listening to this, he didn't actually go to Baltimore, just in case anybody thinks that this was not parody.
Takes it out of context. Yeah, we were talking about iPhones and the idea: does smartphones have any room for innovation? Like, is there any design space left for people to be wowed?
My opinion is there's not going to be anything like revolutionary, like when. Well, okay.
Not anything.
Well,
soon,
well,
at least.
currently the innovation is slapping another camera on.
Yeah,
Well,
That's the
it's like
innovation.
The
Six
whole
cameras all
conference
the
was about cameras, but like
Yep.
the phone itself, there wasn't much about the phone really. Like there are incremental upgrades, like a chip from A12 to A13 and battery life, things
But
like
that's
that.
expected.
But that's expected. But what's also expected is Apple innovating or companies innovating. Like
Apple-
people are still looking for some new way of using our phones differently.
No, but smartphones in general have gotten stale.
they have, yes.
It's
Like,
kind of plateaued.
It's
Yeah.
it's
Very much
plateaued
so.
basically.
Like the crazy one, maybe the folding phone, but even then, it's not.
It's nothing in terms of the technology. It's just another.
Yeah, it's just another way of using it, but
It's
it's not like it enhances
it's
your
more
experience.
for just the person that likes using tablets, because that's the only point of it.
Yeah.
It's just a bigger screen.
That's right.
Because
Well-
even when you fold it in half, like have it in the cell phone mode or whatever you would call it,
Yeah.
it looks really stupid. It has huge bezels. The screen is tiny, and
Yeah.
it looks terrible.
The next, if we're not gonna see like something revolutionary, and I'm saying like revolutionary at the scale of when like the smartphone was introduced. Revolutionary. It actually changes people's lifestyles.
Well, that
I
was
don't-
a disruptive.
I don't
change.
think it would be something revolutionary for a while. Like,
Not until we have another jump in technology.
yeah, I think
like-
in the future revolutionary thing will either be something that will be in your glasses or whatever the shit, and then it's like everything's
You're talking
hands-free.
about like Google Glasses.
No, but like way better. Don't think like Google Glasses the way Google Glasses is, but literally just
What
any.
it was meant to be.
Yeah, well, just
The
imagine
concept
just.
of it is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's in a museum of failed.
Well,
products.
Yeah.
in the future, you might get some new ones. You might get like a glass that's like completely like integrated HUD or whatever,
Yeah,
right? Like
exactly.
you can you can stream and shit, and you can like
They'll get
make calls
GPS
through it.
and everything.
Yeah, GPS. You can have all the apps in that
Iron
you can
Man's
control from there.
glasses.
Yeah, Iron Man's
Yeah,
glasses.
essentially.
It's kind of like
Without
Robert.
the all the satellite.
Yeah, we're-
Edith.
Yeah.
Basically, kind of like Edith, but without the killing death drones
Yeah.
and shit. But you have all it. I think that will be.
Info side of it.
But these aren't phones, though.
No,
what you're talking about
I'm
is like
saying this is
peripheral
like
stuff.
that's why I'm saying by like that'll be the next revolutionary thing I can see in the future. But like just phone wise, like maybe the next thing that wow people, not revolutionary level, but it would wow people is I think they're gonna have to make it where like somehow you can expand the screen, right? Like that technology has to get better. Like right now, you have like I don't know, they're trying to do folding screens or whatever. I'm thinking like it's something even
Projection.
small, like.
I think he's thinking of like a paper map where you. Like,
Yeah, it
unfold
kind of. Well,
on-
yeah, it'll just be like it almost just expands, just slides out, and all of a sudden you got an iPad
a-
level.
I was
A
thinking more.
malleable screen.
Not even malleable. It's just you're
I was thinking more so like like Tony Stark's hologram type thing, but
Yeah.
it's interactive.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
like, you know what,
that'll
where
be
you, like,
far off though.
you, like,
Yeah, no,
swipe-
very far off.
You would
but-
swipe an
Swipes
item
and-
and it goes onto your TV.
Yeah.
But then, like, you don't, because on the train, you have to think about, like, people when they're walking around, like, maybe in the beginning, our hologram technology won't be that great yet and shit. So maybe, and then maybe if people want privacy here a little bit, you won't really have privacy with, like, holograms and shit, right? But they're working on screen technology.
You could
right
if it
now.
displays on your own glasses.
Yeah,
instead of
but
anything
if we're
else.
talking about, like, smartphones before, you know, like, the not right there at the revolutionary level.
Yeah.
Maybe like the next advancement in smartphone is probably the screen. Like they're gonna think of a way to like make it they expand the screen, or just like you have a screen, you press a button, it comes out like a switchblade, bigger screen or something like
Yeah.
that, right?
I
You know,
mean-
iPad size screen, and then when you're done, fucking it just folds in on itself, or it just retracts into itself and back into like
Yeah.
iPhone size, right?
But
So-
I mean, if we do go to hologram screens, then Jason, it's gonna be hard to watch porn on
exactly.
your phone, right?
Well, that'll be different at your home.
Yeah.
At your home, you'll have hologram shit at home.
Wait, I'll put on my freaking
When
like
you go
65
out and
inch
stuff,
TV at home.
When you go out and stuff, it might just be like glasses or a contact lens or something, and then, but that is you're gonna be so far away. That'll be Futurama
That
shit, 'cause
would-
you gotta control it without basically no controlling interface. Almost, I don't know how you
Actually,
can do
that
it.
would be something that would be great to have. Is in Black Mirror, you have those little like devices that you put in your heads, and you could like rewind memory and all that stuff
Yeah.
on your eyes.
One of these
That
days.
would be crazy.
One of these days,
I
but
was thinking Futurama, where it's like their iPhone
The
was
iPhone-
like
I
the
was just
actual
gonna mention
iPhone.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was good. That was good.
But then it's like a new model comes out. What you do? Have that done all over again?
A new
that's-
surgery.
Yeah.
fuck.
Jesus.
No, it could probably be just updated with software then. At that point, just
Yeah,
like a
but
software
at
upgrade.
some point they're gonna have hardware upgrades.
Well, if you're talking about hologram, then it's not like
Someone
there's-
hacks your eye and shit.
Yeah, you get spam just popping up.
Fuck, I get
That's
virus.
exactly
You're
what-
like, oh shit.
That's exactly what happens if
You get one-
you're narrating the whole future.
You get the ransomware. Like, it just pops up programs like, oh
I
fuck, your
actually
eye's been
forgot all
hijacked.
about that.
That was crazy. I
But,
miss future.
Yeah, I think the just going back to that, the most biggest change in phones I could see is just mainly battery life. I think that's one complaint people have
I felt
throughout any phone right now is battery life.
well, battery life is what everyone's chasing.
Because the screens are getting bigger, it's draining even more battery. like
Draining
you-
more battery. Yeah, like one
Not
of
just
the
bigger, it's the refresh rates are getting
Yeah.
faster too. They're like some phones are like 120 hertz, and it just drains battery way
one of
faster.
the nice thing with the iPhone 11, like why it lasts more, is they took away 3D touch from iPhone 10.
They took away what?
3D touch. So
the harder you press, basically.
yeah, so if you
Oh.
press on my phone, I have a i10. If you press it harder, it changes the options. But
Oh.
on iPhone 11, it's duration now. So if you press and hold the button, you get the new options.
Rather
So
than-
by taking away that technology of it sensing how hard you press, they can have a bigger battery because that component of measuring pressure is
no
gone.
longer,
Yeah.
And that's not even going forward. That's kind of just going backwards.
That's-
just-
It's
Yeah.
kind of like
Before.
modifying, yeah. Like the last innovative technology I think iPhone had was the face detection, or what do you call it, face unlock.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty innovative. Like
Yeah, but they
But
took
they-
away fingerprint, which I find fingerprint.
I don't miss it.
fingerprint. I think is
use-
more easier than the.
well, like
face-
whenever I just want to quickly touch, like check my phone while it's just on the table or something,
Yeah.
I could just unlock it with a fingerprint
Yeah,
rather than lifting it
but
up to face.
if
it.
you were washing dishes and your fingers are wet, you can't use your fingerprint. Whereas
Well-
your Face ID, you could.
Hey, does the Face ID? Does it work if you have like a fucking ski mask and shit on?
You can add. Well, they recently added so you can add multiple faces. So you could add
So
one
you're gonna
with
have
the
to
ski mask. If
you're gonna have to
want.
prime it and put it
Yeah.
on, be at home and put on your ski mask and
Yes.
shit. And
Yeah, exactly.
see, that's one way where fingerprint is superior.
Yeah.
well, I hear one of the rumors was they're gonna add fingerprint to the next iPhone. Add it
Oh,
back.
like the iPhone 12, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm.
So next year's, along with the same rumors of the ones that were supposed to be in this.
I
phone,
think-
USB
I don't think they will.
Type-C, Increased.
They still don't have USB Type C.
No.
No, they're
They're
still
still
using
with
Lightning. I
Lightning.
think.
So dumb.
Oh
Unify
my
all the
God.
fucking charging.
But like, yeah, that would be nice if everyone used the same charging.
And
feature
they're
as well.
still, I believe they're still locked at 60 hertz for their screens. Like, they
Possibly.
didn't even move up to 90, from what I recall.
Possibly.
Which,
I don't
you know, that also helps their battery life, but you know.
But like, just to defend Apple, I do think they have these innovative designs, but people don't recognize them as much.
This
like,
was not an innovative
This was-
design.
what you are unlocking with the face?
No, I mean this.
The
iPhone
three-eyed
11.
camera.
Oh, the 3-eye
That's
camera.
the only
No.
difference.
That
Otherwise,
is
it's exactly
nothing.
the same as
Well,
last year.
there might be something, but I don't think people really care for it. Probably filmmakers might care for it, like the guy who did the Bird movie that I told you about, where he filmed the whole movie on an iPhone 10. He might find it interesting to have three
Which
cameras.
bird movie?
It's on Netflix. It's called Highball Bird or something. It's a movie about high school and basketball, and the movie's gimmick was it was filmed on an iPhone.
Okay.
iPhone does arguably have the best video taking, but the only thing they added to this one that I'm aware of was their, what did they call it, the selfie in slow mo.
Oh yeah, so if you
it.
wanted, like, if we were filming a podcast and we wanted two cameras, one to point at Jason and someone across from him, you could just have the iPhone in the middle, and then the camera can, like, because it has the front facing and the back facing camera, it can both operate at the same time. That way you don't have to have two cameras. You could just have one device that could capture that.
I just
cardinal
meant their
direction.
slow mo selfie cam, so you could do slow mo in the selfie.
Slow mo selfie.
Yeah,
So it,
they tried to hype that up.
Wait, what's the point of that?
Yeah, right. But I guess it's for like all these people on Instagram or whatever. They just take those in slow mo or whatever.
What I'm waiting for is the iPad. You know, that pad that you could charge your stuff on.
Oh, wireless charging.
Yeah,
the charging pads.
that charging pad.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't know if
they
added
discontinued
this.
it. It seems like.
They were supposed to add, so you could place like basically your the ear pods or whatever.
You can paste.
onto the phone
Yeah,
and
your-
charge it. Did they actually add it
Oh,
to this?
that
year's?
would be cool. So your phone becomes the new pad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
then
know if they
isn't-
actually added it this time or if
But
it's
then you
gonna
need
be
a
another
bigger,
next year.
even bigger battery than in your phone.
How would you feel about that? Like if our like say
Right?
I guess so. Yeah.
like if all our phones have this ability of like wirelessly charging other people, and say you're just like, you know, at work and someone comes up and you're like, oh man, could I charge your phone?
Yeah.
And or
Then
charge
they-
my phone off yours, and
then
you
you
look at your
touch
battery life
phones.
and you're looking at him, you're like, I guess.
I'd say no. It's too
Yeah,
bad.
you're like at 90. No, I'm running low.
You know what they're gonna do in the future? They're gonna make it so that your phone just charges wirelessly in
Oh,
in the
like-
building even.
Like
Yeah.
like how we have Wi-Fi at work. You
yeah,
just have
but
like
you'll
a
have
battery.
just battery charge.
Don't you feel like you're just working in a radiation?
We
Like, they're just, like-
already
5G's coming out. Like
5G will give you a lot more functionality.
if they could
too.
add electricity to the 5G to charge your phone, that'd be interesting.
That'd be awesome, but
Cancer-inducing, but
Yeah, I feel like
interesting.
yeah.
Well, everybody said it would be cancer-inducing when they had all the radio waves flying around. Anyway.
Oh yeah, when you use cell phones on your brain.
Yeah.
Or if you have your phone near your pockets and then you get like radiation in your
Yeah.
testes.
well, not just that, but I heard like the same thing for having like a router in your room.
Yep.
It's
All
like,
signals.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna cause
So
cancer.
the deal is like all kinds of signals will bombarding. They don't know. They're just like, oh, okay, it may or may not do something, right? So the longer that we go and have this history with it, the more shit that gets debunked, or maybe we do all just start actually melting after the 100-year mark.
Does like, you know how Wi-Fi, when more people are on the same network, the network slows down in general. Does charging will also be the same?
This is
Like,
fucking
when we-
hypothetical, man. I don't. Maybe.
It's not actual thing.
Oh.
we'll have to
that'd be
invite Tony Stark on, but he's dead. So.
Oh, we got
my
Elon
God.
though. We got the Elon.
Can we ask?
Oh, we got real life Tony Stark. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that.
I mean,
If Elon was at the level of Tony Stark, that'd be a different story. I don't want to put him on that
I
same
mean,
level.
if anybody is closest to being a real life Iron Man, it's probably him.
I wouldn't think so. He's just
No?
some weird rich guy. Did you? It was so funny.
I wouldn't be surprised if he had like an Iron Man-esque suit or two locked away
he
somewhere.
would have used that to save those kids trapped in that cave or whatever.
Well,
oh, in Thailand,
Yeah.
he did build something to try to
yeah,
save
he was
them
saying like, oh
to
yeah,
prove
build
it.
a submarine. Or
useless.
whatever.
Completely.
But instead,
fucking
he
useless.
just called the guy gay.
Yeah, well, it was completely
Well,
fucking
it's 'cause
useless.
They saved the kids without his help.
Yeah, and
And then what did he do?
he just basically took away publicity. He made a little bit of the publicity about him when he said, oh, I'm gonna direct my fucking drilling company and whatever, and my engineers to try to think of a solution to save these Thai kids, right? So then a bunch of the news media jumps on it and be like, oh, Elon Musk comes out with ideas.
He's gonna
Elon
save
Musk
'em
company,
all,
yeah.
man.
When the actual divers and shit were like, they didn't like that at all, and it was basically just them that went in and got the kids out.
Right, because the
I
machine
think
was
one guy
clunky.
died too.
There was a
Yeah, one guy
casualty.
died
There
too,
was a
so-
casualty, yeah.
And then Elon, at the end, still didn't approve of.
He didn't. I think it was also they were looking for an apology because he was saying something about the divers that struck the chord.
Yeah, well, even then, like, who gives a shit? The thing should be like, in a sensible world, people would just be like, who gives a shit what the fuck the guy says, right? But we don't live in a sensible world, so as soon as he says something like that, fucking people just attract
Well,
to that
especially
stuff.
because he said it on Twitter. That's the issue.
Yeah,
People,
well,
people
and-
use Twitter as the battleground.
Yeah, and it becomes a big thing and becomes an actual thing.
Yeah, like the only person that can use Twitter and be immune is Trump. Like,
He can do anything and be immune.
Oh,
It's
God.
just Twitter.
Shall we jump into this?
all right, let's talk
Impeachment.
about it.
His impeachment thing, Majiggy?
Oh, I thought we were talking about the other.
Okay,
Leader.
that's,
You said Trump, so that's like the natural segue.
Oh, you're right. It is the natural
but
segue.
it's the B-Money brain.
now that it's pointed out, it's less of a
Okay,
segue.
here, let's try to attempt to link this shit together. Both of these guys are, both Trudeau and Trump have gotten themselves into a little bit of shit, into a little bit of doo-doo with the people these
One more
past
so
few
than the
weeks.
other.
One more. I was just gonna say not a little
I
bit.
wonder who's actually gonna get more flack for the lesser thing, though.
I'm thinking it doesn't amount to anything for either of them. Actually, you know what? Trudeau might get shit on a little bit more.
That's what I.
Well,
think.
actually, Trudeau, he was talking about trying to lower our prices on cell phones.
Yeah, well,
That's-
where
that's
was
his-
this?
that's
Hey,
his
hey,
comeback.
Trudeau, where was this
Segue
before?
back to cell
But
phone.
but that's just, and it's also within 5 years. Meaning if he gets reelected again.
I hate these fucking sales pitches during elections.
It's not. That's what it is. It's not like.
Yeah, it's during the elections. You know, guess what? You know, the thing that you liked, well, I'm going to give you more of that.
Did he
And I
also-
promise
he
to
also-
slash everything if you re-elect me
He
again.
also promised to up the tax bracket for the tax cutoff, whatever. it
Yeah,
is, by a few grand.
If you elect me, I will give you a tax cut depending on your tax bracket. And I'll throw in a second offer, a free Dyson for everyone.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Wait, did he actually? Going back to what he said about the slashing price on phones.
Yeah, cell phone bills. Yeah.
Like, how does he plan to do that?
By
He was
bringing in
talking
more
about-
carriers. And
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, one, he was gonna be like, I'm
Oh,
gonna
so
talk to
making
the
it drop by
telecommunication
By
companies.
Competition?
No, he wouldn't force anybody to drop it. He would just.
So
allow
that's still
allow
just
for
an
more players.
assumption.
They-
You can't promise.
His
That's not.
his method isn't that sound. Like his first idea was to talk to the existing telecommunication servers
Ask them to
or
drop
service.
it.
Ask them to drop it. It's like, hey guys, can you do us a solid here, right? And if they don't,
Like, 'cause I promised these guys.
and if they don't, we're gonna invite more competition. But there was one I remember they were trying to enter the Canadian market, but they got shut down. Like there was a third competitor, wasn't there?
It's not easy for them to just start up like that because
Well, usually you would
difficult place to develop.
Well, if you look at like say UK, they have like seven or eight
Yeah.
providers, and then you look at Canada's like 2 or 3.
Well, three.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no,
It's
usually
pretty
called the big
ridiculous.
three, but-
Well, yeah. Well, that's the whole problem.
Is the
and
problem, yeah.
What Trudeau basically said now was, you know,
that may
hypothetically we'll have more players in the.
that might only happen for like Toronto and
Oh yeah,
that
he
area.
didn't say for all.
not
of
for the rest of Canada.
Yeah,
though.
he
Well,
didn't
especially
say-
not for Yukon.
Like I said, this one I don't even think is going to amount to anything. It's just because it's.
I just heard about it now and I
elections-
don't believe it.
No.
he's trying to cover up his bad press from.
Nah, the whole fucking problem is not profitable for a lot of telecom companies to upgrade a whole bunch of shit in Canada. Canada's got a lot of land, to cover, and too few
population
people.
is like too.
Yeah,
nothing.
to make anything
we're
really
too
profitable.
sparse. Actually, I did have a Telus did come to my door asking me to switch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sure, I'll switch. And then Shaw called me back a day later saying like, hey, I heard you switch. We want to buy you back. And they offered me a better deal.
Yeah.
Now I have to switch back. And I'm like,
I switched from TELUS to Shaw. When I told TELUS I'm canceling, they were just like, okay.
no, Shaw bought
They
me.
didn't make any argument or anything.
Shaw
ask about it.
like, Shaw went beyond. They're like, oh, you're paying that much for 2 years? Here, we'll pay $10. We'll ask $10 less for the exact of what I have right now, and we'll throw in $200. I'm like, okay, sure.
Cocksuckers, why didn't you just do this for me?
Yeah, why did you do this before?
You gotta wait till they call you, because if you call them up to say, hey, then they're like, okay, fine.
No, they will never
right
call
after
you,
that,
though.
No, they did. Shaw called me, but that was like after I already switched to them, and I was just waiting for like the setup.
Mm-hmm.
But they called me and it's like, oh, did you want to switch us? I'm like, I already did. I thought this was a call to be like setting up an appointment or something. And they're like, oh no, let me check on that. And then they're like, oh yeah, okay, you could do it this way. I'm like, what? You called me just to offer me a promotion?
Oh,
They didn't offer
want
me a
the
better deal
promotion.
either,
But
though.
then you do know like because I've been paying a higher amount for like I don't know how many months, and then you're like, wow, if they're okay with me paying this small amount, why didn't they offer earlier? Kind of thing. It's kind of
Yeah.
annoying.
It's
Well, they're
fucking
never gonna
them.
offer earlier.
Yeah,
No,
they
they
want to
won't.
get
Unless
more
you
money.
find
for you.
out about it and call them up and be like,
Yeah.
hey, why am I
That's
not
why.
getting
That's
this?
why when Telus came, I'm like, oh yeah, my 2-year thing is up, so I might as well switch. And
Also, all these companies, they value new customers more than existing customers.
Which
Yeah.
makes
That's
no
why they offer
unless
them
you're
better
about to
deals.
leave, and then you're considered new again, right? 'Cause
which
you're like,
makes no sense to me. Like it's
No, it's stupid.
it's stupid.
they're numbers. Like a lot of times, like I'll have a project, and then they'll be like, oh, you need to finish that project this month, and I'm like, well, wouldn't it be the same if I finish it next month? And they're like, no, because it looks better on the books if it's finished this month. But like no matter what, like and it sucks to finish earlier because you skip corners, you cut corners, right?
Yeah.
To meet the deadlines, or if you've done it correctly, you would be past the deadline. But they don't like that. They like to have numbers on the books. And when you're talking about it doesn't make sense about new
Right.
customers, it's just numbers.
But
That's what makes
in
things
the
look
sense
nice.
of companies like this, instead of numbers showing you, they should be more looking at the numbers they retain, right?
Not if it
No.
doesn't make them as much money.
No, man.
There's a
that's
lot of
not-
cases too where existing customers, they'll ask for, or they hear about like new offers, like new deals and stuff, and they'll ask for that, and they can't give it to them.
No, I know that, and that's what I'm saying. That's
It's
stupid.
stupid.
Like,
Yeah, it's
if
fucking
you're
stupid.
giving it to new customers, and an existing customer calls up and says, "Hey, my neighbor just got this from you. I want that too."
Yeah. A lot
Oh,
of cases
they
it
always
won't
say
work.
like, oh, we can't look into your neighbor's contract, and like BS about
no,
that.
but well, that's fine. They can't look, but like.
But they don't give you that offer. If
Or
you tell,
fine, it's not a neighbor. Let's say you saw an ad online for new customers
Yeah.
saying new customers sign up, you get this, and
I think it's just metrics. They're just running on certain metrics, like how many new customers. Like a lot of companies, they always look at growth, and part of growth is new customers rather than existing, right?
yeah, I just think it's a flawed kind of.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, man, they don't give a shit. It is about the money.
So would you support the idea of having more competition introduced?
Oh hell yeah.
I think
if it
we
was
all.
actually feasible.
We in two things here in Canada, cell phones and mobility and data, home phone and everything, and freaking airlines, man.
We're one of the most
Yes.
expensive like in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's why, like,
Cell
okay,
phones and airlines.
there,
we need more
there's
competition.
there's a little bit more, like, there's nothing really stopping a lot of the other telecommunications company to actually come to Canada. There's not like,
Well, the big threes, I
there's
feel
not-
like kind of slows them down.
but there's nothing that stops them legally, right? It's mostly the big three.
It's the
They
cost,
slow them
really.
down. Yeah, it is. And that's what it is. It's the cost. The big three's already established. They got all their assets and shit everywhere, right? It costs a lot for like other telecoms company to come to Canada
And set up their
set up
infrastructure.
and make money of it. It's usually not even worth it, right? So one of the only ways in Canada this situation would be one of the only ways you can try to introduce new companies, or even just to incentivize the telecoms companies to kind of like do some really important upgrades and provide some good service in some areas that are just have complete shit service. The government almost has to give them like a money incentive to do it. They almost have to subsidize that shit, because a lot of Canada, if you think about like the really remote areas and shit, right? Like they almost have not. There's no reason for them to really do anything over there, anyways. And a lot of them right now are almost. I think they're still on 3G. There was and you know like so. They there's no money for them to go up to those places. And the places that do have a lot of population, I mean, basically it's just it's piggybacking on the same kind of development they kind of have in the US, right? And then they just have it here to make whatever little margins of profit that they can. So then you only have these few companies like Rogers, Telus, Bell, whatever, set up in Canada because more or less in their history, they've already got their shit. They've got their towers already all over Canada, right? So basically, they've already spent that cost to get that shit there. So any kind of new players that come, they either have to fucking piggyback and use the existing infrastructure, or somehow you're gonna have to convince them that, hey, you know, we'll chip in on new infrastructure for you guys to fucking, you know, like use at your disposal. Otherwise, you're gonna have to like talk to Bell or Rogers or Telus to use their existing infrastructure. They're gonna charge you a pretty penny to use it.
When we're talking about using their infrastructure, we could think of it as making internet or data as a basic need, kind of like electricity, right? Because for electricity, you don't want to have multiple companies building the same infrastructure. You just want one infrastructure, and you could have like multiple companies serving.
It's the same with oil. Yeah, it's like electricity companies, all the utility companies and the like oil and gas companies and stuff. They'll use kind of like one common plant, one common
because you view like electricity as that basic need.
And they don't view it as a need. They come together and do this shit for cost.
Yeah.
For cost. They'll come together and pool their money and say,
So
hey,
that
you know, like
each company doesn't have to create a battery.
Yeah,
or
right. So
refinery
why
or
can't we do
anything.
that with internet? Right?
because
we don't want like several cables.
because obviously Rogers and Telus and Bell, like they keep out the competition because they say, you know what, we'll charge you fucking insane amounts.
But couldn't you change it in the legislator?
Yeah, you could, but then
But it's still
not
theirs.
when Telus and Rogers have spent so much money on creating this infrastructure that they're not going to give it up that easy and be like, oh yeah,
It's like
let's
Telus,
let everybody use it.
They put in all this fiber optics. They're not letting like other companies like Shaw use it.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
you
But
could, but then like
if it was something like if the infrastructure was set up by the government, then
yeah,
you could
that's
probably
the
go back.
different. That's the thing that you're
so
not.
then the government need to buy out Telus.
Well, it's kind of like if it was a government asset, then you can give it to, you can, you know, like fucking farm it out to whatever is coming, right? Like roads. Everybody uses fucking roads, right? There's no, the public roads at least, right? Not like toll booths.
Yeah, there's no
Right.
private.
Everybody uses the roads,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, everybody can use roads. But imagine if the roads were owned by a company and they farm it out, right? Like it's you can't fathom that in Canada because like it won't even work that way, right? But that's just the way it is with the telecoms company. That's why it's such a huge barrier
But
for other people to use
is
it.
it possible to change that?
Well, politically, it's like a minefield here because as soon as you do something like that, you're gonna see in the National Post and Global TV and CTV and all those other papers.
Our
the
American
government,
viewers are like, what? Are
well,
these
they'll be like, yeah,
channels?
the government is trying to do some crazy socialist, communist thing, and they're trying to nationalize all these things. And you'll get a whole bunch of people that will be like, yeah, fucking like, keep your hands out of my fucking pockets, government. And what are you gonna do? You gotta have to raise the tax or come up with the funds to buy all this shit anyways, or to build all this shit, right? But it's just Canada's not set up for that, for telecoms. So
And even if the government were to do that, it'd be a huge cost because the country's so huge. Like
Yeah.
if it, like Britain and stuff, it's a small country. And the population will pay you back. Like
you got 60 million people
you'll
in Britain in this small island. The telecoms company is gonna make a lot more money.
Yeah.
Right, they're willing to invest in the infrastructure and put in the cost because they think they're gonna get a lot more returns from that. Canada, you got 30 million, half the population of Britain, spread out over
like
multiple
50 times the size of
the
Britain.
landmass, right? So like, if you're a lot of companies, if they don't already have the infrastructure in place that they can use, they're not gonna spend the money to reach 30 million people.
That might be innovative technology where you can build a internet network without the same infrastructure, like something like a global Wi-Fi, like a countrywide
So
Wi-Fi.
5G.
That's some fucking Star Trek shit because you still need infrastructure. 5G, 6G, the next
all the
generations
countries would
that
have to.
come, this is based on infrastructure.
All
You
the-
don't have 5G
Well,
without
like,
the 5G
not
infrastructure.
infrastructure in general, like the existing infrastructure, like something that you can just implement
Yeah, the
without the same barriers.
That's why I say that would be like Star Trek level
Yeah, I
technology
agree.
levels,
That-
right?
That's like
We're
year
not there.
3000 stuff. That's not gonna happen anytime soon.
Right, and by that you're not gonna get there anytime soon. And people want 5G, right? And 5G is basically brand new. You're gonna have to build like you're gonna have to upgrade your infrastructure and build even more because 5G, the radius is much shorter, right? So like if you think about how you get 4G, right now, and basically like, you gotta ping off all the fucking towers and whatever the fuck, right? 5G, the radius is actually shorter right now. So
Shorter because is it the wavelength being
yeah, it has
higher?
to do with it is. I'm
Oh,
not.
sorry, wavelength being shorter, frequency being higher.
It's that kind of it is that idea or whatever. Like 5G, I guess the ranges is shorter. That's how the technology is right now, right? And maybe in the future they'll make it so it's a lot fucking farther range. But right now it's shorter. So then they were saying like 5G right now, when right in the beginning when it starts to get introduced, it's going to be a big investment because you have to invest in new infrastructure if you want to actually have the same coverage as you do right now for 4G.
Because right now, if it's shorter, then you're basically gonna have to double up on like cell phone towers and everything. Like
Yeah, well, even just like some kind of new if you think
whatever
about
the infrastructure is.
yeah, some whatever the fucking point, right? The word escapes me right now, but like just the tower, the point,
So then it sounds like there's not a good chance that Trudeau's telecommunication ad is gonna work.
well, it's just to grab votes. And I was actually thinking the whole time, like, when are we gonna get back to Trudeau again?
All right, let's go back
Let's
to
talk
Trudeau.
about the fucking blackface. The whole fucking deal. This guy is addicted to it. It's an addiction. He needs to go to like Blackface
Well,
Anonymous.
So it started when he was like, what year was it?
He was in. He was like a
2001?
teacher, a TA, right? In college.
2001.
And
Yeah.
just like an addict, he just can't stop. He's gonna be at the next meeting.
Well,
He's like,
So
Hi, everyone.
Faced.
Yeah.
he brown
brown-faced
faced,
first.
black
He was dressed
face.
like Aladdin.
Yeah.
But he wanted to get more immersed, so he brown faced
Yeah,
himself.
Did he
He
have
wanted-
a turban on or something?
Yeah.
He had a turban. Yeah.
That's not Aladdin.
That's Aladdin.
Yeah, when
Aladdin
he's
is an
when
Have you
he's
not
like
seen
Prince
Aladdin?
Ali. When he's
When he
like
becomes
Prince
a
Ali.
prince?
Oh,
You guys talked about Aladdin
I
last
was
week.
imagining the little hat thing.
No, no, no.
That's when he's just like a street.
No, not yeah. That's
A
when he's like a
street thug.
street bum or
Yeah.
whatever.
That's the more
His
iconic
little
Aladdin
fez.
look.
Well, he was
Yeah.
going for the prince,
He
man.
went for the whole Arabian
Prince
Nights.
Ali.
Prince Ali, big turban thing.
No, the best was so he was caught by that, and then he flew somewhere to make a public apology, right?
Yeah,
And then the news reporter's like, "Do you have anything else to tell us, Mr. Trudeau?" He's like, "Oh, one time I did one little small thing."
yeah,
And then it's like, "Is that it?" It's like, "Yeah, those are the two times I can remember."
Yesterday, just 'cause fucking, I don't know. I just felt like it yesterday too.
Phrase that better, like twist it in a way like
Well,
I
I
like
feel
to
like the-
celebrate Halloween.
I feel like they were setting him up. They're like, and then as soon as he said that, like,
It's a
breaking
regular
news.
thing. It's a regular thing. Every Tuesday,
Yeah. It's like breaking news. We found more, and he's like, "Ah, god damn it." And
That's
he-
why you should have phrased it in a way that's more vague, but it kind of touches upon it.
I also feel like I should do something.
But if you phrase it vague, then it means that there's potentially more. Like the news media is gonna spin it the worst way possible, regardless of how you phrase it, right?
Yeah, but is that better or worse than just like not mentioning it and then it just shows up?
It's fucking damage control.
Versus
because
if you like leave it ambiguous and then it's like, "Oh, because of Trudeau, we found more."
it's damage control right now because it's in election time. So then he can't just say no because if you could argue if he could just say no, if he could just not say anything or say very minimal things
Or
before.
false fake news.
But during election time, everything is more hypersensitive, right? So then you have to go and nip this shit in the bud. So that's why he basically came out and had to say something about it.
I wonder how long they've like sat on it. They probably found this footage and just like waited for the best.
They
time.
did. No, the Conservative Party, and it came out that they were the ones that leaked that shit. Like they
Oh.
waited. They obviously it was planned. They waited
Yeah,
until
that's
election
fine.
time.
I wonder what they called this jitsu.
They called it the Operation Blackface. Black Friday. Imagine Trudeau's like,
bad.
"Oh, so any other time you blackface? Yeah, like sometimes just for Black Friday, just because of the day, I just have to.
Just
I have to.
celebrate,
It's an easy one. That's low-hanging fruit. I just have to.
Look, it was a simpler time back then, This
That-
was more acceptable.
This
But
guy
I-
can't stop, man.
But it wasn't that
Yeah,
long
no,
ago.
no.
That was a bad.
He can't-
That's a
he
sad
can't
part.
That was acceptable back in the 1940s.
No, but even in, like, I don't know how to say this, but it wasn't. I don't think it was done out of a malicious kind of intent.
No, not. A lot of blackface nowadays is not really done out of like I hate the people that I'm painting my face to be the color.
If anything,
sort of
it's
deal.
kind of like Yeah, they
But-
didn't think much of it really.
Well, the latest instance I could think of is Always Sunny, where they
Yeah.
blackface.
Yeah, they have to say, well,
Yeah,
they
no,
told me
it's-
to do it
it's
for the
two
show.
things of that.
Here's the thing. Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
That movie.
Yeah, he did.
RDJ was blackface
Yeah, he
for
was
2
blackface.
hours straight.
But it's like Always Sunny, where they're doing that on purpose and pointing it out.
That was
as
like the parody
a
of
joke.
that.
Yeah, that was
But-
a joke.
Yo, man, like that. I bet you could find somebody that just hated that, sent them hate mail for. I can't
Oh, I
believe you got
absolutely
Robert Downey
guarantee you
Jr. to blackface. This is so offensive. I bet you there was people like that. Right?
No, I know, but and that's the thing. Like, again, that was just as a. It wasn't out of.
It was
like,
not
out of
malicious.
hate. It wasn't out of malicious, and the same thing with
That's why.
Trudeau. I don't think it came out of like, hey, brown people are
Yeah.
stupid.
Well, that's why
They're
his
To
campaign
be
is not.
fair. It was only a picture. We don't know how he acted. with
Yeah.
that on.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. Plus,
Mr. Prime Minister, there's no video of this, is there?
plus
Fucking like.
he, whatever. That was like almost 20 years ago. So he was like, what, 25 then?
I just
26?
imagine he did a porno with that on. Oh dear God.
You like that?
Unfortunately,
man.
we don't live in a time where intent matters.
No, I'm just imagining he has to go to like Blackface Anonymous. I'm Justin. Hey, Justin. It's been 2 days since I painted my face black. Way to go, Justin. Stay strong.
Have a guy in the corner like painting his face. Like, oh God.
I can't stop.
My name's Jim. I'm
Who left
250
the charcoal on the floor?
251 days since I last put on blackface. You know, some days I look at the makeup counter and I just
You
but
mentioned
gotta stay strong. Puts the fucking coin on the table.
Sobs. Oh God.
But that's why his campaign's not sunk, right? Because it's not like it's not like he's like shouting racial slurs
Yeah.
and shit.
Yeah.
so you're saying it's not that big of a deal.
Well, it's not like it didn't sink his campaign. It gave the conservatives a little bit of the points in the polls, but that's nothing. That's almost as comparable as Joe Biden saying shit, just melting his brain on
'Cause
TV. And
At the, at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. If people look at the points, they're going to vote for whoever they want to vote.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like no diehard Trudeau fan is good or
Yeah,
supporter
those
is gonna-
guys,
or
they'll-
is going to be like, oh shit, he did brown face. Okay,
they'll defend him. They'll defend him. Usually,
Yeah.
ironically, with like the popular conservative talking points will be like, you know, are you really gonna punish someone for something that they did when it was X amount of years back in high school? Blah blah blah. It's the
No.
same kind of.
And that's the same thing with Andrew Scheer, the diehard supporters.
Yeah.
No matter what comes out or no matter what happens in the media, they're still going to vote for him.
Yeah.
No,
Just like-
Trudeau's gonna be fine. I mean, Trump got away with it for so long for going orange face.
Yeah, and grabbing pussies. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ba-dum, bum.
And the latest news of Trump.
Oh. But okay, before we get to Trump,
was
I
trying
wanna
to
say-
segue.
blackface. Well, the brown face for Trudeau is just it's not good for him, especially in this race because fucking Jagmeet Singh exists, right? So he gets a lot of fucking ammunition from this, right?
Oh, Jack me.
Because he could basically play it off like he's playing it off like he went on TV and he basically it was like an emotional message to everyone that suffered from racism or blackface or whatever. He was like, I feel your pain. This is in Canada. Blah 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 blah. He's milking it, right? So
yeah, of course he's going to milk it, but I don't.
he's in the best position to take advantage of this.
He's the only one who's in the best position.
Right.
Yeah, but again, no one's going to be any liberal or conservative isn't going to be like, that just moved my heart. That his speech, like.
Yeah, if you're his party, you'll say that was wonderful.
Yeah.
Like I came in my pants a little bit, Mr. Singh, something like that, right? But yeah, no, for regular people,
I like everything that's happening right now. It's not going to change much at
Yeah.
the end of the day.
unless you're like really hyper into this, like you really,
Or
like just a complete fucking, I don't even know, like a really too sensitive of a person, it's not gonna affect too much. Something that this, right? It's a smear. It's a campaign
if
smear.
or if you're someone who I don't know how to say this, but like a casual voter,
I was imagining smearing his face.
It is a smear.
like
A literal
like a
smear.
casual voter or something like who would be like, yeah, maybe I'll go vote and maybe I'll see who I'll vote for kind of thing. But if you're already in one camp or the other, you're not going to change.
Well, that's what they're counting on too, right? Like, they're trying to get those guys that are undecided.
Yeah, the people on the fence. This might be just the light tip to put them over.
Yeah.
Right, and then that's the thing with I think the youth will be more
Yeah.
susceptible to that.
College age kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn
This would really get at him, unless you're the college age kid that does that.
Yeah.
Then oh, maybe I'll vote for Trudeau this year.
What if this brings back a fad? This coming Halloween, it could be like blackface everywhere.
Nah.
Just
that'd be
complete
horrible.
anarchy after
I don't
that.
know if it was ever a fad.
No, I mean it'll become a fad.
Oh, it becomes a fad. Oh.
If he becomes well then yeah, then the new era of blackface is upon us now.
Yeah.
No, that's not going to happen.
No.
Well, because
The only thing that could happen is an era of orange face.
yeah, well, yeah, that would be more likely. The reason why the reporters on that plane were asking, "Are you going to resign or resign?" Because in the U.S. there was a bunch of cases where a bunch of governors had old high school yearbook, I guess, party photos leaked where they blackfaced, and basically they resigned from it. Like that killed them.
Oh.
That killed their fucking
cancel
public
culture.
career. So that's why they're asking, "Are you going to resign, to Mr. Prime Minister?" And he's basically saying, "I'm just really sorry. I was so stupid." Basically saying, "No, I'm not going to resign."
But see,
Cocksucker.
those governors, what were they doing it for? Like, what were they doing blackface for? Like,
Thursday.
You know what? Yeah, it's
if-
like
if-
Thursday.
if it's like a frat thing or something like that, where they're actually, then you actually have an ideology behind it, kind of thing. You know?
I don't think there's ever a good reason.
It's
to-
just, yeah, you can't really parse out the reasons too much. The base gist of it is those guys got sunk for blackface. Trudeau didn't get sunk for blackface yet. Not like fucking impeached
'Cause
blackface.
I feel like if you give too much of a reason, you're almost justifying it, and he doesn't want to justify it.
But you have to look at Trudeau's, like, or anybody's, and like that happened almost 20 years ago, and the person he's been since that, you know. Where if they pull out a blackface photo of him from 2 weeks ago, that's a different thing.
Well, that's the thing. We don't know. He
They're gonna
could
ask him
possibly.
again. It's like, anything else you want to say? He's like, no. And then,
Well, I'm
we
just
got
gonna tell you,
something.
I got drunk on the weekend. I'm not really proud of it, but yeah, I busted out the makeup.
Kind of feels like
Um,
that other president, the one with the scandal, the sex scandal,
Clinton?
Clinton. Kinda.
That other president, like you're talking about it like it's like 200 years ago, and you can't remember
It's like with the
date.
sex scandal, I'm like, I'm still thinking Trump. Like,
He's got all of it. He's the ultimate one. He's got all of them.
yeah,
I mean,
it reinforces the idea how much he gets away with. It's incredible.
Nixon, Watergate, nothing. Clinton, Monica Lewinsky, nothing.
Trump went into it with the Pokemon mentality of gotta catch them all.
You
He
can't
is
defeat
all
me.
the president.
Teflon
combined.
Freaking
fucking done.
bulletproof.
All right, let's fucking talk about him. Pelosi and them actually are trying to go ahead. This is the farthest anybody has gone to actually
Yeah.
trying to
The
impeach
inquiry?
him.
I still don't think it's gonna.
No,
win
of
out.
course not.
No, it's not. Gonna happen.
It's impossible. Like, okay, here's a little background to people that might not know the whole extent of this. Basically, the House, which is the Congress, that's like the House of Representatives, Pelosi asked for an inquiry into impeachment. So basically, what happens is the Judiciary Committee and some other committees or whatever, they basically investigate and they try to find evidence of impeachable offenses, right? And it's very specific. It has to be like treason, fucking high misdemeanor or whatever, basically high crimes. There's a very specific list.
What started this though? Was it
I'll get there in a second. I'll just explain how the impeachment actually works, right? They do that. They do the investigations, and if they have evidence and shit, they put it to a vote, right? They put it to a vote to the House for a vote of impeachment. All it needs is a simple majority, right? If that passes, then it goes to the Senate. At the Senate, that's when it's like when they convict. So it's possible for you to be impeached, but then not get convicted, like what happened to Clinton, and just fucking carry out the rest of your term.
wasn't also Nixon?
Nixon resigned. So
Yeah, he resigned.
He
before
resigned
it
before the
happened.
impeachment vote actually went through, I think.
Oh,
So he didn't even actually get to the Senate part.
oh.
He
What happened
he just
was-
stepped down himself.
So what happened with exactly. What happened with Clinton is the House voted to impeach him, and then once that vote passed, it just basically means the House voted to impeach you. You're like an impeached whatever president. But to actually kick you out you have to be convicted by, you have to have the Senate vote whether to convict you of that impeachment or not. And if they don't convict you of that impeachment, that's basically like you're not impeached. You stay, you do whatever, right?
Yeah.
It would just be damage to your image and your party's image. But Clinton finished his term, right? He didn't get kicked out. He finished his term.
In
So for this case, it's quite impossible. If you're thinking that Trump is going to get kicked out, the cards are fucking stacked because
isn't the Senate under Republican?
yes, the Senate is under Republican rule, a Republican majority. They need 67 votes out of 100 to basically vote for him to get impeached and kicked out and like convicted of whatever impeachable crimes and kicked out, right? And that's, I don't know the exact numbers, but you basically have to convince like 20 Republicans to fucking switch on him. And then the further consideration of everything is just like the overall power and influence that he has, right? Like the Republican Party will fucking shit themselves. They'd rather probably dig up McCain's corpse and feast on his bones than to try to impeach Trump, because like that is their power, right? That is their, everybody's voting the Republican because of Trump. During the midterm elections, basically Republican fucking people with the House and the Senate got voted in depending on if Trump supported you or not, or you were in good with his people or not. Like you have to not think only about the legal part, but you also have to think about like the overall power structure.
Or Pelosi, it doesn't sound like she wants to kick out Trump.
No,
But it was almost like a play on the
it
election.
is a play because Pelosi, she's a veteran, fucking House leader, right? Or is she in the Senate? Fucking, I think she's in the House. It doesn't matter. Either way, she's a fucking veteran player, right? So she's doing it for, like a build-up to
Street
the
cred.
elections, right? She's
Yeah,
doing it
she's
as
just
pressure.
trying to make a vote of or non-confidence to give people
You
doubt.
don't- Well, yeah, there's technically not really non-confidence in the U.S. part. That's what the impeachment is kind of for. But
I mean, basically, it's really hard to get impeached. Really, really hard.
yeah, no
but-
U.S. president has actually been kicked out that way. Like the Senate
Impeached
convicts
and
you.
convicted of it.
Yeah, not even Andrew Johnson back then. They always say like the only two presidents that ever got impeached were Andrew Johnson and Bill Clinton. And for a lot of people, they're like, oh, fucking, there you go. They got kicked out, right? No, they didn't get kicked out. They got impeached. They got voted to get impeached by the House, but the Senate never convicted them. So they never got kicked out of the presidency. And there's a whole bunch of legal, like precedence is very important in the legal world. There's no precedence of a president ever getting impeached, and the laws are written in a way where it's like it's almost half of it is flying by the seat of your pants if you actually do convict a president and fucking
The
impeach
only
him.
one that could have come close was probably Nixon, but then he resigned before it
And
happened.
I mean, I can't remember if the Senate at Nixon's time was under Republican control or not, but still, like, that would have been a tough call for him anyways.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we'll never get to know, but
No,
and the closest one that could have actually been impeached and possibly convicted was probably Nixon.
Yeah,
If
yeah, you can make a good argument for that. But for Trump, like anybody that's fucking creaming themselves thinking that they're gonna kick him out, this is next to impossible of getting out. This is more just kind of theater coming from the U.S. politics.
Basically, Trump is testing the limits of this. He's like, let's see what the fuck I can do. And
Well,
how
he's just
far
gonna
I can
rail
go.
on Twitter and then be like, "Look at the fucking weak ass Pelosi, fucking Skeletor-looking motherfucking motherfucker trying to impeach me,
He
right?"
says that verbatim.
He's probably listening right now, getting ideas first.
For
Would
the
you-
next tweet?
If he actually listens to this, would you feel good about that?
This is good. This is good. He's writing it.
I would ask him to, give us a shout out.
I would take a
Yeah,
sabbatical.
sure. Why
Yeah,
not?
man, fucking yeah, sponsor us.
Get him on the show.
Yeah, B-Money will wear a MAGA hat every day for you.
If that's a trade-off, then I'd take that deal.
The mega hat?
Yeah, if you wear that for like an entire year and
Just to get Trump on this?
then, yeah. You
I
how
don't know,
many-
man.
That publicity for us would be amazing.
The one podcast to interview Trump?
Sure.
We'll dig into all of our lives. We're gonna be part of like a scandal.
You know.
Wait,
what's-
but
Hmm?
sorry, but just your original question, how this actually happened is he ordered. It was leaked that he ordered the prime minister or the president of
Ukraine?
Ukraine. either the prime minister or the president, I forget. But he basically ordered them to kind of do an investigation on Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden. He's on the board of some Ukrainian, I want to say, energy company, and basically there's a lot of corrupt shit going behind the scenes, anyways, right? But he's basically kind of telling him to investigate Hunter Biden just to fucking throw shit on Joe Biden during the election. So they're trying to impeach him because it's like you're using a foreign country to try to interfere in the election process, something like that.
For the second time?
Okay, so this has nothing to do with the Europeans not giving money to the Ukrainians.
No. Well, the thing is, like, he withheld. It seems like he withheld promised military aid to Ukraine unless they do this for him, right? So that's where that kind of, like, the fucking money
that's how
stuff
that
comes in.
ball mixed with other balls.
Yeah, the incentive that he's trying to give out, right? So that's the why. What did you want to say before?
I lost it. It'll come back to me.
That's the first time, man.
We learned a lot today.
What about what's her name? The Greta,
Oh,
the Swedish
whatever.
girl. I can't
Oh
remember.
man, yeah,
16-year-old.
the big fucking. Did you see that speech? She fucking came on and railed,
Oh, right.
just ranted.
No, actually, about global warming.
Yeah.
Yeah, she like ranted and stuff like that.
How
But
dare you?
the best one was afterwards with the CNN, where there was the guy who was like saying like this girl who's mentally ill had
That
to.
was on Fox. Or was
Oh,
it on
sorry.
Yeah,
Fox.
Fox.
It wasn't
CNN.
Definitely Fox.
Was it Fox? Yeah.
It
Okay.
was.
Where he was like saying this mentally mentally ill girl,
Swedish child.
where she's being what do you call it? Taken advantage by their parents to do the publicity,
And
da da
the
da.
left.
And then the other guy's like, take that back. She is not mentally ill. You can really take that back. And then he just like went ham on him.
Well, you know it's bad that even Fox apologized.
Fox apologized. Yes.
Fox
I don't
was-
think he was in the wrong. I think
Wait. You don't think he was in the wrong?
saying
I
that?
did not. I didn't think. Like he is correct, like what he said, because the issue with global warming isn't about the science.
Brian is
It's
sweating.
the politics, right? And that's what he was trying to make. And that the whole thing about the girl is that it's not a game changer. Like it's not going to move anyone, and that the parents are using her just to gain publicity or
But-
money from it.
But is there
Dude, he-
proof that the parents are using her, or is this an actual child?
Well, he also called her
activist?
mentally challenged, though, isn't it?
But she is mentally. She had autism.
That doesn't mean mentally challenged.
Wait, how far is she on the spectrum?
I don't know, but there's no proof that her parents are pushing her or prodding her to do. If she's doing this by her own will, she's 16 years old. She's not
She seems like she has her heart into it.
Yeah.
She does.
Like her speech was actually pretty well done.
Well, I'm not trying to say like she's retarded. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying that she has.
Disclaimer, we're not saying that she is retarded in any way. Dear God, don't fucking smash us. We are very small.
I'm on her side.
I'm definitely on her.
But he's saying that she has challenges compared to
He-
other people.
The guy, okay, so, I think people, he's mad because he called him mentally challenged, but also, that's the thing that's like, well, probably shouldn't say that as a newscaster or whatever, but,
Well, he was a
impartial,
guest, I think.
so-
Yeah.
He was a guest, I think.
oh, I guess, okay.
It was a
Well,
guess.
maybe you shouldn't say that on TV, right?
Well, and then the other guy just went ham on him,
Yeah.
just calling him like, it was hilarious.
I bet they're probably familiar names if I go and see who it was, but, yeah, the other point, that's actually more like, you could actually make a case about that, I guess, if you really needed to. Is it just the parents just pushing this or what?
Yeah, but anyways, overall, the whole speech, it's meaningless. Because, like, if global warming, if it was just the science only, we would already figured out that it's a threat and we should do something about it. The reason we haven't done anything is because it's tied up in
Yeah.
politics.
Yeah, and
The pundit that made the remark was Michael Knowles.
no, I don't know. He's not.
No, he's just a guest. Who's the guy who called them out? That was the best.
Fucking, I
part.
thought it would be like fucking.
He just said, "Take that back. She is not mentally challenged." It's like, and he just went ham.
Yeah, I
on him
wonder
like
who
crazy.
the one that called him out. But yeah, you're right. Actually, you're right about this part. It is the politics of it, and it's also like her making this impassioned speech in reality is not gonna fucking change shit. It's not like we're gonna look into the history books like after Greta made this speech, the entire world turned on the
she's no
dime.
Mother
No.
Teresa.
and well, fucking
But
everything's green now.
if she believes truly in what she's for, then you can't make the assumption that it's played by her parents or by.
Sure,
I mean,
that's a small
But
thing.
A
no,
lot of
yeah, probably
people,
not her.
even more famous and so on, have said the same thing. Like, climate change is like a huge issue.
Yeah, probably not her.
I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio talks about the same stuff and then takes a private plane to Paris for the climate accord.
Well, he's just being stupid, and this is the hip thing for Hollywood to be on,
or
right?
he
No,
vacations
his was
on a.
especially stupid because it was like word of mouth kind of thing.
And he didn't understand what the fuck a Chinook was.
Yeah,
Oh no. Yeah, when he was in Kananaskis and he was like, "There's no snow here."
Banff,
It's
yeah.
It's like winter and there's no snow here. And
Yeah,
Like,
Dude,
no, there's
that's
just a period of
normal.
a shit.
that's just
Yeah,
well, it's normal because
that's
it's normal
just
for
what
people.
happens.
It can be cold. It can be winter without
Yeah.
snow.
It was
Yeah.
just like, it was just. I think he just asked someone, and then they're like, "Oh no, yeah."
But maybe
climate change."
he needed snow for his movie Revenant at the time.
He was like, "Why is it so warm? Tell me why." It's a Chinook, Leo. Chinook. Oh my god. Oh
That's
my
the
god.
native word for climate change.
I must spread this to the world.
Stop
But,
everything.
I mean, like what I meant to say was there's part-time activists or environmental
yeah.
people like that. Whereas if she's decided that this is what she wants to dedicate her life to, then or work on this and bring awareness to climate change, regardless of
It's not likely she was coerced by her
Yeah.
parents.
No, I don't. Yeah, no, I don't think she's coerced, but I do think the parents probably gained something.
Well,
out of
no,
their
no.
publicity.
Let's just like, I get your point. Like, I don't think her parents. Her parents didn't really coerce her. I don't think fucking anything. They're gonna gain anything from that. But your point is valid for a bunch of, like, you've seen people bring their kids to like protest about shit before, right? Like, I've seen video footage where like fucking like neo-Nazis bring their kid, like 2-year-old kids, and they're just like on their, they're on their like shoulders. It's like they're going on, just going out for the day to a parade, but they bring them to, like fucking, I hate all the gays or something like
Yeah.
that, something like that.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
If that's the case. In those cases, I'm always of the opinion that you shouldn't bring your kids to this shit, and and then you maybe have like 6-year-olds holding up placards that say this shit as well. They don't know, they don't 100% understand what the hell's going on, and in that case, yeah, that's 100%. You're using your kid to kind of do this stuff, and they don't know what they're really doing, and they're just probably gonna grow up to be assholes anyways.
But the difference for this is that there's actual science backing the claims.
Yeah.
and Backing Greta's claims and everything, so there's actual proof in her corner.
Well, in this
whereas
case, like, yeah, and she's
I don't
more or
think
less
that'll
just in a.
spark much change either. Like,
She's not like a 6-year-old kid or anything either. She's an impressionable teenager, but then she knows enough that, like, she's developed enough that she can make an impassioned argument about something, even if you don't agree, even if someone doesn't agree with it. It's not like fucking she's just a 6-year-old holding up some like anti-race placard, not really knowing the ramifications of shit, right? So, yeah, I mean, you can't really say that she's getting coerced into it, or she doesn't know what she's doing, or it's just she's getting used, or it's just her youth being whatever.
too much change is required to actually fix climate change, so
It's not
and
going to be
since-
from her.
No, I mean, like, even if we do go the route of politics and everything, it's like it'll take a very long time to actually make any
I think
significant
like
changes.
Andrew Yang was talking about it. It's kind of like the thing where it's like, is it too late to fix it? No. But is it like, should we have fixed it 10 years ago? Yes. But it doesn't mean like we can't do stuff now.
Yeah, he's basically saying like, get the people to the higher ground.
Yeah,
That was
he is.
basically what
He is because we're at the point where climate change is gonna happen. Like we can't prevent it at this point.
No.
But we can
It's
still
already
do things
happening.
to protect people. We can still do things to slow down the changes, or in some sense, start reverting it. Right.
No, his main thing is you're gonna have to revert it. He's not saying like we're all basically dead, but he's saying some of the stuff right now, you're gonna have to prepare for some of the damage that you're already gonna
Yeah.
incur.
Whereas the 16-year-old was trying to say, "You screwed us. we're dead.
Yeah.
It's just impassioned. Like
She
she's
wasn't
mad.
very passionate. Yeah,
She's
I get
very
that.
mad
But
about
like,
all that
And
stuff.
she's not wrong in that.
no, well, I don't think global warming is a doom and gloom thing. It's not like because we are set to have changes, right? Like we're past that point where we can stop it. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen, of course, but we can do something to.
We can still do something
lessen
about
the
it.
consequences. Of
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of the more like practical leaders are talking about what are the practical things to do, like moving to higher ground, reducing our waste, zero emission.
Well, in a way, it's a kind of an ironic thing. She's lambasting all the politicians and the leaders and the industry for just talking the talk but not doing
How
anything.
Dare you?
But she obviously she's talking, right? she can't do shit either. But this is all she can say. She's gonna just make an
Yeah.
impassioned
She gets
speech.
that message out to like the younger kids out there. Then maybe like in the future, like that generation will actually.
I don't even think they'll make it.
Well, like they might be more aware of
think
it
they'll
and like
No.
recycle more than generations past and everything, and be more energy efficient, whatever, all that crap.
It's a good thing. It's just it's a negligible thing. It's not. This speech won't change anything. But what will change is
But-
either fucking shit starts to really go downhill and the people that have all the power and assets start to get affected by it too, and then that's when people start to fucking actually put full resources into dealing with it, or you're fucked.
she is doing something in the sense that she's bringing awareness to it, because right
Yeah,
now
she's
we're-
doing
we're-
more.
and sure, we're past the stage of the point
the
of no
sense-
return.
In the
We're gonna
sense, she
deal
does
with-
more than fucking we do.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. She, of course, she does more than fucking we do. Just talking about it.
If
shit in
we
the
were
basement.
put on the Grand Save UN and
Okay,
had this podcast, we
by-
would do a lot too.
By us talking about it right now, we're doing more than most people in the world.
Oh,
We're-
fuck yeah!
we're
Eat that
above
shit.
the 50%.
People that don't do a podcast.
We're raising awareness too.
we're past the point
Yeah.
of
all the audience that
preventing.
listen to us, we're better than you.
we're,
Put this on
Oh God!
Fox.
Please don't say that. We're not better. Please keep on listening to us.
we're past the point of preventing climate change, but we have the idea is to get the dialogue going.
Yeah.
Because it's not gonna. There's no way we can start tomorrow and be like, okay, let's focus on climate.
But the
change.
dialogue needs to
But-
be with the people who can change stuff. Like
right,
the,
but
like
the
energy
people,
companies.
the people who can't change stuff, if they keep talking about it, eventually the people who can change stuff will get on board.
Yeah, and
It won't happen now. It won't happen 10 years from now. But even if it happens 50 years from now or 100 years from now,
But I feel like
it's still you're doing something good.
the challenge is also the companies who want climate change to continue because it benefits them, right?
yeah.
So
no
they're
shit.
spending a lot of money with the propaganda of saying climate change is. They're always switching the goalposts, right?
Yeah, no shit.
So, like, even if you're talking about it, the talk changes. Like, for a lot of regular people, it's hard for them to even understand why climate change is so difficult to understand.
Right, but
Yeah, but then what is the argument there? Because this happens, like, that's it. This is like nothing can be done. Because the argument against that is like, oh, well, even if it's the incentive of the energy companies to be against it, that doesn't mean like the actual decision and the actual way that the power can get applied to change stuff is not actually with them, right? Like it's just there's a lot of big changes, but it's not like, oh, if the energy companies just feel like they can make money doing this, we're screwed. It's not really the case. You can get them if you have basically some fucking liters of balls and then your population willing to make the changes. Then the hard part is to actually motivate, is actually get people to en masse and to start to do these things, and also political leaders and the whole system has to change a little bit as well, right?
When you talk about en masse, did the girl inspire the strikes? Like the people
No.
No?
Like,
okay.
like it has to be like a non-negligible mass influence, like at the point where people.
Like Hong Kong protester mass?
That's not even a mass incident.
That's not
Gotta
enough?
be global.
It's you basically
it's got to be like a continent at
like
least.
basically you're well
Australia.
not enough that it can't be your government will basically be overthrown if they don't do it. Like, it has to be something where the government basically has a mandate from the entire people, and someone that is going to just say, you know what, like if everybody's okay with it, we're gonna have to go through a couple of some sucky time period to actually fucking go green, change emissions, whatever. That means like people will have to eat the losses first of all, right? It's either higher tax or carbon tax or whatever, and you just have to get people to be on board with that. You can already tell that in Alberta, like, and Texas and all these places where people's livelihoods depend on this stuff, you don't get that mass. You don't get anywhere close to that kind of mass.
No one wants to even think about it, right?
That critical mass, right?
No.
So it's not like, and it's like the oil companies, the energy companies, you change their way. You put the rules in place where they are forced to think really hard about how they're gonna still trying to make a profit or whatever, right? If you gotta basically close off the profit that you can get from whatever fossil fuels or whatever, right? And steer people to be going into, I don't know, renewable energies, nuclear energy, whatever. That then they'll be like, okay, I have no other choice to make money but to do that kind of stuff because I can't do the other thing anymore.
Yeah, you have to change the environment basically.
Well,
it's if you look at it, it is changing. It's just not changing as fast enough as we'd like it.
Yeah.
Like most of the major automakers have announced that we'll be done with gasoline combustion engines by 2030 or 35 or 40 max.
Yeah. And
so once that starts happening, then the companies producing that energy are going to have to think about different energy sources because most of the vehicles on the road after 2040 will be EVs.
And that's pressure. That was pressure for basically high up, and the high up government and people get the pressure from people, right? So that's how most of the time you get that kind of change to happen. You can't wait. You can't just sit there and wait for the company just to fucking all of a sudden grow, the fucking corporation to grow a fucking set of morals and stuff, and one day be like, no, we should really take care of people instead now.
Well, it's funny because Bill Gates, they designed this. Well, I think we talked about before, where they suck up the carbon and push it underground.
Yeah, carbon capture. Yeah.
Carbon capture system. But then, like, it's highly funded by the fossil fuel companies.
Yeah, because they
have the biggest incentive to do it.
And they need something to replace the fossil fuels eventually.
Well, no, for them, because if you capture more carbon, then you could burn more carbon, right? You open up your wallet.
Right.
Or your budget, I guess you could say.
Yeah, so it's just obviously the fucking the direction you'd be a fool to think that it comes from the company, that the direction that you want. Mm-hmm. You have to force the direction.
Yeah, that's where government comes in.
Yeah, you have to force the direction.
The hand of the free market decide.
No, because the goal of the free market will just fucking put us all into an oven. Right, yeah. Like that's basically it. Like you can't stop that shit. Like if it's in their interest, like if it made money to fucking just fucking microwave half the world's population, you best believe that like they'll
that's
fucking
where
do
we're
it.
Heading, yeah.
Like it's.
And this climate change idea, the only places that are so resistant to it are the countries that have the fossil fuel infrastructure set up and built, like most of North America, Western Europe. But if you look at like the third world, they're more open to the idea of alternative fuels, alternative energy.
No.
Sorry,
they're open to like anything.
Think about,
they're open to anything. Like
because the one major thing for them is they don't have the infrastructure set up.
Yeah.
The biggest pushback from like North America and stuff is that the companies don't want to leave and lose all the infrastructure they have set up.
But for them, for like the third world that doesn't have the infrastructure in existing, their main thing is cost, anyways.
But for the third world, and
it's cheaper to actually go with fossil fuels. Like coal plants are still the cheapest.
Yeah, because isn't that the thing where China is building coal plants in Africa?
Yeah, so like China would be upgrading their own infrastructure to go green there, but then the companies that are going to build infrastructure in Africa, coal plants are still kind of the cheapest.
Yeah, so we're almost like, as a planet, we're not doing that well.
And then it devolves into an argument. It's like, oh well, like right now, this is one of the only ways you can get people to lift them from poverty. Is you gotta build these power
You
plants.
give them dirty energy.
You have to put, like, India's problem is like, oh fuck, like they want to prosper, get to that level too, and
Yeah.
this was China's problem too. Early on in the 80s and 90s, was like, well, you gotta be prosperous, but fucking the only way you can do it is you gotta pollute the shit out of everything, right?
Yep.
And it's already caused, long term, it caused way more problems, right?
Yeah.
But it's like. It's like, if you could prevent that, if you don't have to do that in the first place, that'd be ideal.
Well, yeah, you gotta upgrade gradually. You can't just
And
suddenly.
then Brazil was doing
Yeah.
that because they were burning their rainforest to make
Well,
more tech.
They're not
metal.
burning it, but
it was on fire.
it was on fire, and he just.
Hype died down on that, so I don't know what
Yeah,
happened.
He didn't really
actually,
give a
I was
shit too
curious
much
about
about
that too because
Is it
they
still-
offered them money to not burn any more trees.
Yeah, Bolsonaro didn't want to accept because he just feels like Amazon is Brazil's property. Like, why the fuck should I even care about what you guys say about?
Well, it's
how
because
I should
everyone
take
has
care
an
of the Amazon.
incentives. Like, well, it helps our greenhouse gas.
Yeah, but then to
allowance.
him, it's like, this is Brazil. This is my country.
exactly.
Like,
To
I
him.
do. I take care of my own country's. Fuck,
So then,
you know.
Yeah,
why is the forest not burning anymore? I'm confused. Did he just stop for because he just felt bad?
So maybe it's the time of the season for the
He got-
rains
he
and
got
shit.
visited
I
by
don't know.
the three ghosts of
No, it's
rainforest.
firefighting. He did. It's not like he's not doing any firefighting, but it's just like he didn't. He just, I don't know. Bolsonaro was a kind of an idiot, anyways. But it's not like he's not the type of guy. I don't think he wants the entire thing to burn, anyways. So if there was some firefighting, he just probably didn't want to accept the money with strings attached.
Yeah.
And
Didn't he badmouth who was it, France or?
yeah,
whoever
Macron.
it was?
Yeah, he fucking hated all that shit.
Because if you look at temperature in Brazil, it's a lot lower than Africa. But if you look at where they are geographically, they're closer to the equator than Africa, right? So, and the reason why they're lower in temperature is because of the rainforest, because they get all that precipitation.
Yeah.
So if they had burned all the forests, they would be screwed.
Well, it
terms
affects
of
us
heat.
on a global scale.
Yeah, and that's the argument. Like, because the rainforest does, affect us and like the entire world, and it is an argument against, sovereignty, and also against, like, it's an argument of one side being Brazil's sovereignty, the other side being like the actual fucking stake of the
planet,
entire
yeah.
world.
Yeah.
I wonder how much it would cost to just plant billions of trees.
China and India have been planting trees for, like, if you, like, they came out with some article the other day, and it was like showing the parts where new trees have grown, like the green stuff.
That they can like be the new rainforest, the new
Not
Amazon?
rainforest. You can't get that kind of density, but like
Oh,
planting
okay.
trees, like you can see it on satellite where places that used to be desert, now there's trees in it, right? And
But more of that has to happen to actually
more, yeah,
make a change.
yeah,
so.
it's not gonna negate anything, but it's like that it does take like resources and actual direction to kind of do that shit, and lots of time. Takes trees a lot of time, right?
I have a thought. What if we just decided to accept global warming and just try and map out how the world's gonna change and just start migrating people to
No,
where-
because you're gonna
Then
fucking.
you're dealing with countries and
Yeah, you're gonna
nations,
fucking
like,
fight.
hey,
You see how
We
many
just gotta
people?
reach our borders, man.
Okay, well,
yeah, because that's an easy thing
Another
to do.
idea. is
Look at
just
what's
to go
happening
what,
already.
Futurama did and just move the planet further from the sun.
Yeah.
and then we fucking die. We all fucking die.
Well, what are we gonna do with that week? Name it after verbal laxative? Because we
Yeah,
came with the idea.
Yeah, we came up with it, even though I said it's from Futurama.
No,
I'm
Yeah.
sure David X.
there-
Cohen doesn't remember this.
There's no way you can start moving populations.
No,
without
if you think about,
consequences. I mean, if moving populations, if that was a possibility, there would
Well,
be no
it's
refugee
gonna-
problem right now.
I'm sure the hands of nature will force us once they flood certain areas. We're
sure,
moving population.
sure, but
Like,
even then,
Europe's already experiencing like drastic weather changes.
Well, yeah, they had the
Freaking
longest
hot
heat
there.
waves and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, like the sign of global warming has already arrived.
you don't have to even. Okay,
We-
if
we-
you want to
we-
see what population migration looks like in disrupting order, you don't even have to look at climate. Just look at how many people migrated out, like Syria during the Civil War. It was like what?
That's what I was just gonna say.
A couple
like,
million people, right? Look what the fuck it did to Europe and everything. Like just like a couple million
a
people.
few million people. Like worldwide, how many? There's a population of like what 7 billion, and maybe at max there's like 10 million refugees right now.
Then
and-
probably more, there's more than that.
Okay,
It should be
let's-
more than that.
Let's say
Worldwide,
50.
more.
Let's say 50. Let's say 50 million.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
more?
Yeah, more or less. That's a ballpark. 10 million, whatever.
We'll just go
50
with
million,
that.
regardless.
Let's just go with 50
regardless,
and 1.
Regardless, 7 billion population, and we don't know what to do with 50 million people that are displaced.
And they're not. they're not refugees mass migrating. They're just refugees. Most of it is like static. They're
See,
like,
this is the thing, though.
they're
They
one
didn't
place.
plan to be displaced. If we plan to be displaced,
well,
it'll be
no,
good.
you can't. You can't. No, even if you plan, how are you gonna do it?
Even more people than that.
How would you like think about it? Okay, we're gonna displace. Let's just say India is like a very hot zone. You're gonna displace, let's just say 100 million people. Planned. How are you gonna plan to do that?
And that won't even make a dent because it's 1.2 billion. 100 million people moving isn't gonna change. anything.
But the entire world, a lot of places will collapse if 100 million people have to go and start fucking migrate.
Yeah,
Even
so
just
so
spread
you
out
have to
across the world.
Evacuate the whole entirety of the UK, the entire populace. That's like an insane amount of.
That's
I
like
can't
a
even imagine.
Well,
That's
that.
like
you,
100 million
like what
people,
we could
yeah.
do is you start designating new UK. To be
Where?
Where?
You can't just.
Well,
Where? You have like a 50-year conflict brewing in like Israel and Palestine just for that little strip of fucking land. You think people are gonna want fucking mass migrations?
You think the U.S. will say, "Oh, here, take Alaska," or Canada's gonna say, "Here, take all the Northwest Territory"?
Canada, we got a ton of empty space, but people don't want to go
You
there.
fucking
Well, we don't
Maxime,
know.
right, yo, that guy Maxime Verrier, he's already got billboards up like, we're gonna stop illegal immigration.
Yeah.
And we got like nobody coming to Canada. There's nobody coming here. And then there's enough people that he made it onto the next debates to like, oh shit, we gotta do something about the imaginary fucking Olympic level illegal immigrants that somehow swim to Canada. Or make the trek, you
If
know.
citizenship wasn't a thing anymore, like no one had any nationality or anything and just could move wherever the hell they wanted,
If it
then
was-
maybe it's more plausible.
Nah, even then, because
then,
you
no.
move that much people, you're gonna cause famine in the place where you move to, right?
Like just like you. No, I mean even within Canada, you can't have all of Vancouver moving to Toronto or something. Like
Yeah,
that would be
even
insane.
that would stress Toronto to the fucking limits.
But I like not just all of a sudden, but it's like if
Like if BC were to submerge right now, as they say it is, over like what, an inch a year or half an inch a year or a
Yeah.
centimeter or something, if suddenly you need to vacate all of BC and move them to Ontario,
It's
or
a
something like
nightmare.
that would never happen.
It's a nightmare. If you think about the resources and the manpower and all the losses that you'll incur just from trying to migrate people, you might as well just spend that on fucking renewable technologies at this point. Or even just
Yeah.
fucking hardcore. Just
Maybe that's
carbon
why.
capture.
Maybe that's what we're focusing on.
just
that.
plant trees everywhere.
It'll
Still
take
not
too
gonna
long,
happen.
man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
it
it
won't
would,
take
but
too long.
still, at least then the future generation.
Well,
might be
actually-
No, but you can't plant trees everywhere because you need that land for food.
No,
Like,
you,
you're
you
gonna-
plant
you're
them.
gonna-
You plant them on top of buildings because in
Well,
Europe they plant a lot of trees.
But
on
still,
top.
it's gonna
That
take so
doesn't
long,
cover-
right?
That doesn't cover.
Yeah.
And that doesn't cover the amount of trees you need to make a difference.
Right now,
And what do you do with trees that you start planting?
Like, can't you
that
just
have,
plant that
like-
one passionate tree, like that one little passionate girl?
no.
Right. And well, what about? But that's not sustainable either. Trees on buildings, some kind of plants and stuff might be sustainable, but trees on buildings aren't sustainable. Once if you can't plant a redwood on top of a
Yeah.
or
And plus
or
the
an
redwood,
evergreen.
the tree's not gonna get as much. It's not gonna extract that much carbon that's gonna make that much of a difference.
And
that much.
the root system will take over like the top.
Takes a
8
fucking
floors.
generation
actually-
for it to grow too.
This was the thing. The reason they were planting trees on top of buildings was that asphalt was retaining so much heat that at night it just causes this heat issue, and people were using all this AC, right? So by planting trees around, then it absorbs more of that heat from the sun. So it's
Yeah,
not-
but
but
still,
see-
that's
see,
still just a
that-
nifty
the-
thing.
The reason for the trees was to help with the airflow. The reason wasn't to stop.
no,
the
it wasn't
air-
for
it
it wasn't for
still
global
helps.
warming.
It's nice. Yeah, it's something nice to do. It's not the main driver of what's gonna save you.
If you do that in addition to planting billions
Yeah.
and billions of trees worldwide,
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
yeah.
But then that's what the point I was trying to make is that billions of trees worldwide, then you're taking over farming land.
Yeah. So
agricultural
the
land.
biggest challenge
Then,
right now is
unless-
deforestation.
Unless we start deciding to eat multivitamins.
Yeah,
for the rest
Just
of
use
our
up-
It's
lives.
just the world right now needs to change a lot of shit. Like if you think about the system we have, the government we have, the economic, political, and even the society that we have right now, a lot of stuff kind of actually needs to change for you to actually move into a direction where you can reverse, like really sizable reverse
Yep.
of
what we do.
this.
we'll use all of these like tons of empty skyscraper floors and stuff. We'll start doing vertical farming, because that saves tons of land space. Then use those farmlands to plant trees.
Well, in Japan,
Yeah.
they have been researching on growing plants without soil.
Yeah.
So
There's
like
tons
the
of
whole
advancements.
the whole vertical
have-
thing works.
You have to calculate or account for the population increase as well.
See, here's the thing.
Yeah.
We need to stop that. We need to stop population increase.
I hear you, Mind Fuhrer. Jesus Christ. I remember you've
But that's
said
not,
this argument
that's not
before.
something you can just say. Like that's
Yeah.
that's
What are
like
you
a
doing
personal
to
choice.
reduce population?
That's a personal choice right now. Like you can't be like.
We have to take that choice away.
What choice away? Like, okay.
These might
So
be
you're-
the last words we hear from him before he like shoots people. Up.
Okay, let's play this out seriously. Is it a viable option to just kill half the population right off the bat?
Oh, like Thanos it?
Well, just
No.
fucking kill a bunch of people. So like then you.
I wouldn't do it like Thanos did because his was completely random who got wiped. I would have to do it selectively because if you get rid of half the people and then we lose
All
all,
the half the
knowledge
doctors
on
are
like
gone or
certain
something,
things,
yeah.
then we're just.
So
Okay, so what?
So then, like, it's like a job interview, and they're like, "What makes you deserving of living?" Like,
I can make the argument over 50% of the population.
Yeah,
But who would
okay,
judge
so
that,
you're gonna
too?
have to it will be an ongoing thing. You're gonna have to cull the population ongoingly.
Like every time a kid is born, you log the kid and then
Yeah.
wait for 20 years
Like,
and find out what he's doing or
If you
what
think
she's
about
doing.
if you think about how society would look after something like that, like what the fuck's like is that even a solution?
like,
How often would you do this?
It has to be ongoing. It'll be every day.
year, every
Ongoing,
6
but
months.
Every year, or like every.
Yeah, because
generation?
no,
Every day.
Every
Every
10
new
years.
kid that gets born, they're
You'd
gonna
have
have
to
to
do every
all
year.
assess them,
So
and
you're
then
gonna maintain at exactly 50%.
you'll have to,
Well,
right?
you know,
if you want to go with that,
there's
you
a
have
movie
But
about
then you have to
this.
do that like daily.
This is
Exactly, you would have to, because logically, if you bring this to this logical conclusion and you say our solution is to cull the population to
And keep
maintain
it
the
at
resources.
50%.
That's an ongoing thing.
This
right?
is Snowpiercer. This is exactly the story of Snowpiercer.
No,
Yeah, but
it's
that's on a train.
No, it isn't. Snowpiercer.
Like they were like that
Like, okay,
73%.
I get,
They were.
I get, yeah. On the train, they had to fucking like call whatever on the fucking train because you can't have mass population on the train. But I don't know. The Snowpiercer,
I
they
was
didn't
gonna
get
say
that way
something,
because they
actually.
started culling people. They were on the train because well, for whatever reason, the entire rest of the world was just fucked.
Frozen, yeah.
Oh yeah, stopping the population increase. Like
Yes.
that's. I know I read a couple of articles about people consciously like making couples and making the decision of not having kids and stuff.
Isn't that
and
becoming more common now?
I thought that was
becoming
more
more
of an economic issue.
It is, so you don't have to kill people necessarily.
Because it was
Economic
just
and-
too
Or poor
expensive.
people.
If you
not,
think
not
about
just that, but more of like the whole save the planet issue as well.
And plus, this is fucking thinking backwards, because if you're thinking about, okay, we need more living space, like, why even limit yourself to the fucking Earth? You send people to fucking space, right?
I don't think that's a viable option. Right
Well,
now.
no, in the future, that's what you're gonna have to do anyways. Like,
Yeah,
what
we're
are you gonna
looking
do?
into it.
What are you
but
gonna do? Stay on Earth for the next 500 years? Like, wait,
I
next
think-
1,000 years, stay on Earth?
I think that is
Well, we've
possible.
done it for so long. It's
Yeah.
possible. Again.
Wow, for the
again,
last
drastic
for
change.
all
If-
of human history, the population has never grown to an extent where the Earth can support it. Let's just say for the next, can you imagine humanity staying on Earth for the next 10,000 years from now?
Really hope not.
You
No,
think-
that's a totally different.
See, it's unfathomable. So that's why, like, logically, if you think about, oh fuck, let's just call
Well,
people.
You don't think human race can last for 10,000 years?
No,
On
No,
Earth,
they
no.
might
They
still
don't.
be around,
If
but
we
we'll
have the
an
current
intergalactic
population-
empire by then.
If we have the current population trend going up, and then if you have to think about like the way we advance as a species,
I think
too.
it's gonna plateau, like population eventually.
How is it gonna plateau?
I'm
People.
just saying, even if we stayed at the same population right now
Yeah.
for thousands of years, I'm just saying I hope we don't just stay on Earth.
No.
We actually branch out.
Oh.
Yeah, dude.
Other
Like,
planets or space
you're like-
stations, whatever.
Yeah, just think
Or
about
other
it. Like, do you
dimensions.
honestly think that people are gonna
Okay.
stay on Earth for 10,000?
I think
next
that's more
10,000?
plausible than us branching out.
How?
Already
I think it's
plausible
way
in
plausible that
Martians,
we're gonna
right?
branch out.
And then that's the thing. That's where it comes all the way back down to Greta. Like,
Wait, what? How did you bring this back to
it comes
Greta?
back to Greta. If you want to keep this Earth sustainable for 10,000 years, then you gotta gotta listen to people like that. You gotta take their words.
Well, fuck, it's not like, okay, the thing is,
Wait,
not like,
who's
it's not like people
these
were thinking
people?
about
Which
it.
people?
It's not like people were thinking about this before. It's not like people were like, oh shit, I never knew anything about this before Greta spoke. Everybody knows about it.
That's not
Greta
what I'm saying.
changed my
I'm
mind.
Not,
Well,
I'm
I'm-
not saying Greta specifically. I'm saying environmental activists or people who are actually believe that climate change is a thing and that something has to be done about climate change. If you want to keep the Earth sustainable for the next 10,000 years, then you really fucking have to believe in climate.
Yeah, you do, but like my whole point is like I cannot even fathom humanity wanting this, unable to expand from Earth in the next 10,000 years. I don't even think it's within the next 100 years. You're not gonna like even. I imagine
like,
people.
is your hope right now is Mars?
No, but
that we're
here's the thing.
terraforming it?
Here's the
That's
thing.
one of the options that's
Terraforming-
being discussed
Colonize
these days.
space, like you're gonna send
I
people
don't
to the
think
moon. You're gonna send
colonizing
people-
space is very difficult.
Well,
is,
fucking,
but
well,
you got
what's
thousands
more?
of
Hey,
years.
what's more difficult? Trying to fucking stay on the Earth, packed in like a sardine can, in the next 10,000 years, or trying to fucking colonize?
I think
Why do you think
colonizing is harder.
You-
I
already
don't
have
think so,
people
man.
living in space.
Sorry,
That's-
We're going that way.
Zinzin.
There's a whole fucking. Well, yeah.
Sorry. We always start yelling at each other. You think we could terraform Mars in 100 years?
Not 100 years. I mean, like we're going to actively be sending people to live outside of Earth within the next 100 years.
Like in spaceships?
Like in on the moon or something, right?
Why not just build like space stations like Collins?
Look, I'm just.
Well, we already have the space station, and people.
I'm saying
do
we're
live
live
there.
we're
Right,
going.
exactly.
I'm thinking logically. Okay, the Earth is materially finite, right? There's no way that you can stretch that shit. It's materially finite. You only have this much on the Earth, right? You leave the Earth, you're not materially finite anymore, right? That's the simple logic.
Oh, no, I'm on board on
And
what
if
you're
you
saying.
think about, we sent fucking. Just in the past 50 years, you went from not being able to leave the Earth to go into space to go into fucking the moon, being able and thinking about making manned missions to Mars. Not even 100 years time period. And you're telling me 10,000 years we're just gonna stay on the fucking Earth?
No.
And it's more harder to go into space. That's what I'm saying. Like, just logically, like as people, they're gonna look at this and be like, hey, one of the things that we're gonna have to deal with this population problem is probably not kill half the people and probably not try to fucking sardine can the entire Earth, but let's, fucking, there's this infinite space that's not limited to this small planet. I don't see why wouldn't we just expand? If you think about just fucking Elon Musk putting his resources into trying to go into Mars, imagine if if that was the prerogative of the entire world, of just one country.
So
right?
with space, the challenge right now is like one of the easiest way would be if we could find a planet similar to Earth that's already like just has everything that we need to live.
Yeah, but I'm also not thinking like, oh, this is something that's going to happen within the next 100. Like, it's not. We're not going to go terraform a planet in the next 100 years.
You can't.
And it's not like
impossible.
our main thing to solve population and fucking environment. Like, the main thing is you gotta start.
steps in
Yeah.
towards that goal.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you're steadily advancing towards that. At the same time, when you clean up the planet, you wean yourself off fossil fuels to have like some renewable fucking energy, right? But the eventual goal is for humanity to fucking leave Earth and live outside of
Yeah.
Earth.
Yeah, that is the eventual goal.
Yeah,
I think for
and
the first
10,000
10,000 years, we should
10,000
figure out
years,
how to live on
plenty of
Earth.
time
Well,
for
we've
that.
already
What,
gone
like,
10,000 years.
Can you imagine from
At
now
least.
to 10,000 years from now? Like,
No,
if we
I
haven't
can't,
nuked
'cause
ourselves,
that's really difficult.
if we
Can you
cannot.
imagine 10,000 years ago and see how far
Civilization
we've
has
advanced.
has existed for at least.
This is
10,000
assuming we
years.
haven't killed ourselves, like just nuked or fucking just let ourselves
Yeah.
boil to
I mean,
death.
which is very much
Very
a
likely.
possibility.
right? If we haven't done that, then logically, you're gonna see people going to fucking live outside of the Earth. It's impossible that we're gonna stay confined here.
Well,
I'm not saying we should stay confined here.
You said you couldn't imagine 10,000 years later that we would. I think we'd just still be
well,
on
I
the
can't
Earth.
imagine what 10,000 years look
But
like. 'cause that-
you
Yeah, but
imagine.
you're saying
You
that
can't
we'd
imagine
still
what
be on
10,000
Earth.
years look like, but you don't think that we'll be able to leave the space. You're adamant on that. So I don't see where the logic is here.
Like I agree with what you're saying is that, yeah, space will be the eventuality.
No, you didn't. Not
You
your
said the
initial.
opposite.
You
You
said
said
the
the
exact
opposite.
No, no, I'm
opposite.
saying for the first 10,000 years, I think it makes more sense to focus on.
Which first 10,000 years?
What the fuck are you talking about?
We've
In
already
the
been
next-
around for
in the
10,000
next
years.
in the next 10,000 years, focus on how to live on Earth.
You know you can walk
Sustainably.
and talk at the same time, right? you do know that, right? This is the equivalent of you can walk and talk. You can chew bubble gum and walk at the same time.
Yeah, we could do both. yeah.
Exactly, you could do both, right? So you don't have to be, oh fuck, we can only do this for
mankind
10,000 years.
can't.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. People like Elon Musk and stuff, they're the ones who have that vision of like, you know, the whole of Earth or the whole of society, the whole of civilization isn't for that yet. But you have some people there that are like planning ahead
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah,
And that's slowly going to pick up. Like right now, there's probably like 5 guys in the world who are thinking about.
yeah.
about
It's like the
a
rich,
1,000
like
years
you
from
need
now.
Well,
immense
within
amount of
1,000
wealth.
years
There's two.
But
There's-
what if it just seems like let's say we do find an inhabitable planet, but it's just like way too far for us to even reach.
Then
then
you go
again,
for the
that's
current one.
advancement
That's
in
why you gotta take
technology.
steps. That's why you
You got-
do Mars or the Moon, the ones that's already in talks.
Yeah, buddy.
Actually
It's not. It's
colonizing.
like it's like when the Wright brothers made the first plane. They're like, "Fucking, this is impossible, man. How are we ever gonna get to fucking space?" Right? You gotta. It gets
But
there.
the Wright brothers had things that they can see, like nature, like birds and stuff.
Well, fucking.
They flew. We don't have anything to base off of that.
We're getting
That
there.
was-
I don't.
Interstellar.
No. People didn't know
flew
anything
to
about fucking
space.
stars and shit before then. They still did. They had no way to get there. But look where we're at now, right? Wright brothers were like what 1911. They
Right.
started flying. And now we make the jump to fucking actually go into space.
But like, yeah, and I guess there's 2 ways that
Well, I'm just
we-
saying, like you're just like so myopic in this kind of deal, because I bring up the Wright brothers because to them, there's no way they would go to space, right? But then it's not like, oh fuck it, I can't see it, I can't touch it. Therefore, how do I know? I don't know. How does it exist? It's impossible. Like how? It's the same question. Like, oh, if we do find a habitable planet, what if it's too far? Well, fucking, then it's too far. But eventually, you're gonna be able to make that fucking jump to the planet. It'll be in incremental steps. You go to the moon first. You go to Mars first. You go fucking branch out. I don't see how it's like, yeah, you can't. There's no way you can reach it with our current technology. But it's not like, oh fuck it, that's it. Then throw in the towel, boys. It's too fucking far.
In like 1945, at the end of the World War II, we were decimated the population, but at that point, no one was thinking about going to the moon.
Yeah, and then we
within
went to the
20
moon.
years, 25 years, we're at the moon.
So
Wright
you don't
brothers,
think- you
we
don't
get
think
flight.
There's a limit to our ability to solve problems.
No,
That there's no planet too far for us to reach,
no.
Well,
or a planet too uninhabitable that we can't terraform it.
We've
Well, not even
Maybe,
if you don't.
But in the future, who knows?
we've so far we've been able to.
So you don't think
somewhat-
there in 1911? You don't think that there's nothing on Earth that can take us into space that can be built by the hands of man?
He would be one of the people back then that would be like, the Wright brothers are crazy. We can't fly.
Yeah, like
are they
that's
doing?
Space, like going to the moon, going to Mars.
how
they
hard
do-
is it from
They
making?
do seem plausible.
How hard
And
is it
obviously
from
we have
going
that.
from
They-
horses?
They seem plausible to us now because they've been done. But imagine yourself in like 1850.
How can you
and
imagine,
somebody
like,
told
I
you
do
that
think
you'd go to the
there's
moon.
eventually going to be a limit where we can't solve something. That's what I'm trying.
Well, then there's AI that comes in, right? Fucking, there you go, and that's
Yeah,
really a
we should work on
construct of
that
man.
AI then.
Like the whole point is like it's like you're a guy in 1850s, like Hassan said, and you're just being pulled around and by a horse carriage the whole time, and then someone tells you, "Hey, why don't we go to fucking space sometime?" And you're like, "But won't the horse burn up if we try to send it to space?" I don't see how this can fucking happen, man. Like,
Where
like,
do we attach the wings?
Like, what? Well, yeah, how do we get the horse to pull us into space? That's what it. That's what you're.
But what if?
That's
what
the
if,
gist of what you're saying, right?
But there,
now.
I do think there are some limits. Or what if we do come to the conclusion that we can't leave this Earth?
Okay, what's stopping us
But
from?
we have
What
left
is
this
leaving
Earth.
us-
Or like
We have
leaving
left
leaving
this
in
Earth.
a way where we could live in another planet, where this is like like this is our home, basically.
We don't
Our-
have an umbilical cord to the Earth. Like, we can't. If we make another planet sustainable to live on, then why can't we move to that planet?
And if you
Well,
think-
we haven't done that yet.
And if you
we
think-
yeah,
haven't
we
made
haven't, but
Right,
in the
but-
future.
But
Wait, I know that's the whole
5,000
point. Like, we haven't done that yet.
Imagine
Therefore,
if
it's
you-
impossible.
What I'm saying is, in a scenario where we can't terraform another planet,
Yeah.
we can't travel to another planet,
But those scenarios will only be evident like 5,000 years from now. They'll be like after, you know, failed attempts, and they're like in the year, 7,021, and they're like, holy fuck, we've tried.
Well, what if
a billion different theories?
So
on
in that scenario
terraforming.
where we admit that like, okay, we can't do that, right? Then living on the planet would be our only choice.
Okay,
then.
but even right now, can you think of an example where it's just something that we can't do? Like it's something that we can't do, and yet is part of it's our existential threat.
No, you can't prove a negative, so no.
Well, shit. Like, well, you can't prove something impossible. With your argument either, right?
Right.
As it is technology today, we've already sent machines and everything to Mars, so we can do something about it.
And we sent people to space
People
to
live
live
in
for
space
years in
for-
space.
Yeah. Actually,
the-
with space, I thought it was really funny. Like, you can order perishable foods.
You know, with space, I thought it was really funny. Somebody told me today that it might just fucking be impossible that we leave the Earth in 10,000 years.
So, if you order food that are perishable, you have to eat it. The thing is, because they have a really hard time disposing food that goes wrong, because you don't have like a garbage or whatever, right? So, and then if you don't eat it, then your commander who ordered the food for you gets really mad at you. So, like, if you ever
in space.
in space, yeah. So if you
Wait,
order food that
You're
are
talking about people that live in space?
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Brian! I thought this was
Impossible.
impossible.
yeah. So if you order fruits, you're expected to eat it.
Let's address the let's address.
That's kind of normal. Like when you buy stuff here on the planet,
No.
you're expected to eat it.
No, I buy grocery and sometimes I don't eat it.
So you just let
Well,
it rot and
Yeah.
go to.
And I tossed it into the
Greta would be so upset.
I tossed it in the green bin.
Yeah, but this is your
that
own
help her?
fucking money. You're spending like NASA's money
You
and
spend
shit.
money to make.
No, the
compost.
issue is not the fact that they're spending taxpayer money. The fact is, what they have a difficult time handling rotten food in a spaceship.
Of
Okay,
course.
but all of this is impossible because people can't live into space. So.
the horse can't get
Not,
there.
Yeah.
They can't live in there long. No.
Oh yeah.
They have to come back.
Yeah.
Like they did that twin experiment, right? Where they had a set of twins. One went to space and one stayed on Earth.
Mhm.
And then when he came back after like a year, they compared the difference, and that's how they knew of the changes of how space affects you.
Yeah, but like, can you not imagine in the future that that problem could be solved by what? By simulating better artificial gravity, by having.
I feel like the little problems that we're solving, like going to space or going
What
to
makes
the
it?
moon,
Okay, what
and
makes
stuff
what makes
are
it?
really small compared to what it would take for the whole, like not the whole, but like for
people to live.
humans to
Just so you know,
inhabit
we're not
other
talking
planets.
about the entire population moving all
Yeah,
at
no,
once,
you just
right?
need some.
But
But
I don't
even
see
then,
why
like,
you think
that's
that's
the
an
thing.
insurmountable problem. What makes the Earth so magical that
Because-
if we leave it, we die? We need oxygen, we need food, we need water, we need gravity, we need all this shit to keep our stuff.
What's unimaginable for me right now, I guess.
Actually, we
is-
don't need gravity because the astronauts float around and they
No,
still
our
manage
bodies.
to
I
stay
feel
alive.
like our. Well,
Eventually, you need gravity. Look, it's just fuck. It's just
I think
It's just the way
I think
our
we need.
human
No, we do
anatomy
need gravity. Like the
okay.
way
Forget
humans
about that
are
part.
born
Like,
here.
what is the thing that you can't fathom that's insurmountable to you?
I think like we are making steps towards it. Yes, I agree.
Okay, then.
But I don't think those steps. I still feel like they're tiny steps. Like,
Okay.
For us to reach the point where we need to be, I feel like we're not gonna reach it.
Why?
Don't-
Like, that's why I don't get what the
Yeah.
fuck's going on here. Like,
It's just how I
what
feel.
is no? But what's the hard limit?
It's
Like,
not
you're
within
making
your lifetime. It's within like 10,000 years.
Like-
Was what we're talking
like you say you can see the tiny steps that you make there, but you said at some point it's just insurmountable. It's impossible. There's like a clear cutoff. Like, there's no more steps. You hit up
Well,
against the wall.
it's more like
What-
it's
what
not,
is that
it's
wall?
not like there's a wall. It's more like distance, whereas like, okay, we made this much progress, but for us to get to this, like that progress has to be like the distance is so far that it's just like we can't even see it.
Okay, but like how? But can you see like why does that make it impossible? Just because you can't see the progress, it takes a long time. I don't see like why is it impossible?
Like if you go like step by
That's
step,
different.
eventually
You
you'll
know,
get that
it's
kind of thing.
yeah, no shit. It's different from it'll take a long time for us to get there. And it's impossible. You
Do
know,
you think
right?
that similarities would be a person from just 1900, and then the goal of reaching the moon?
That's literally what it is. They can't fathom something like that. It's a really long, like, but you,
Because that only took decades, and we made it there.
for us, his hindsight is fucking 2020 for sure, because we see ourselves in space, right?
Yeah.
If you tell someone, that's what we were talking about before, 1850s, how the fuck do you send the horse into space, right? That's what people, their mindsets are set where it's like, they don't know what the hell you're talking about. The only form of, like, transportation, they don't even have the engine, so they're thinking, oh fuck, the horse. I've only in my life seen a horse pull a carriage. How's a horse gonna pull our fucking spaceship into space? But you can tell them like, no. Guess what? In the future, we're gonna make advancements, so you don't need a horse to pull stuff. And this advancement, fucking engines and shit, is gonna lead to fucking rocketry, and that will propel us into space. The guy in 1850, it's unfathomable to him, but obviously, it's not impossible, right? And this is why I'm like, I don't see what the fuck the impossibility is.
I don't get it either.
Because I think space is a really big place.
Well,
I
no
think,
shit,
like,
but
this
we
thing-
got there.
I think it's proven
We
that
got
it's a very
there.
big space.
Yeah, and it's still expanding. Like it's only.
I'm saying you're the
We're not
guy.
gonna go to the
But we
outer
don't
limit.
have to go to every
We're
corner
in the
of
same
space.
solar
Well, here's the
system.
yeah. Well, one of the challenge right now is we haven't found any planet that we could inhabit, right?
Okay, but
Like,
that's
it's a
also another moot point. Like we can talk about uninhabitable planets right now. Do you not think that the technology can progress to a point where you can live
Here, like,
in a
okay,
Like you're saying
on
like, create-
infrastructure?
like, we just create space stations.
Our
Like, we live in-
infrastructure away from Earth gets advanced enough that you can sustain life on man-made infrastructure away from the Earth. You can already prove that with the space stations and shit. People live there for years. They experiment. They push
But
it.
they do come back to Earth.
I fucking know.
It just shows that
Oh my
people
God.
have the ability to live in space for
For a
long-
short duration.
It's still a long period of time.
Well, I would consider long as. in,
So you don't imagine,
would be
you don't imagine like people are just a fucking hard limit. It's just like an ogre in Wheel of Time. If he's away from the
It's
setting
not-
for like
it's
a couple
not
years,
like a
he's dead
hard
no
limit.
matter what.
Again, it's not a hard limit because I don't know what exactly is stopping us. It's just
But you just know there's
it's
something
just
stopping us, so therefore it's stopped.
It's more like a distance thing where
But
you're
we're given
you walk.
such a long
we
time
locked
frame.
we locked a couple of blocks. Yeah, I don't think 10,000 years is that enough time for us to get to where we need to be.
we
But
got
look at how far we've
we-
gotten in the last 10,000 years.
we got in the last 10,000 years.
But
we got
how is that? But your scale, how are you measuring that scale?
Wait, you have a problem with fucking scale?
10,000
You're
years.
the
is
one.
10,000 years,
Yeah,
regardless
man.
of which
Like,
which
I-
way
No,
you're
what-
looking.
No, Jason said that we've come so far, right?
Yes.
We've developed so much from like the Wright brothers to where we are now.
Yes,
right?
decades.
And the Wright brothers was only
But
like
like-
100
but
years
like-
ago.
But like, how do you know that progression, that amount of time progression is enough?
Because we're already making progress.
because
towards
if you
this.
go back
Yeah, we're
10,000
making
years,
progress going
discussed.
forward, sure, but like, for us to get to where we need to be,
Hey,
we don't know what that.
Yeah, this
what
is
that
this is
amount
one of those
right?
philosophical bullshit things that that you like to do. Okay, so how do you know that it's not even going to be faster? It's the same fucking thing.
Fat.
Like you're just asking like, well, what if? So what do you know? What happens if it fucking just explodes exponentially
Well,
100
the
times?
revolution-
Like, how can you
revolution
say?
of
No,
technology.
how can you say like, oh fucking that's impossible then? Like if you look at the trend of what we're doing right now, that's more likely than fucking stagnating for 10,000 years.
So, like-
and this is based not on a hunch. This is based on this observing your tech. You can put it on a fucking graph. Visually, you can see it, and we've been going pretty up. Like our slope has been fucking going high, man.
So, like, when you look
technology
at-
right now is evolving like tenfold or 100-fold faster than it did 50 years ago.
Yeah,
Sure.
and look at our.
So-
But we still don't know. Like, okay, so here's the thing, right? Like, one is to look for an inhabitable planet. We haven't really found that. So the other one we're focusing on is how do we terraform our planet, right?
Or
So,
just
like-
live outside of the Earth, like. But
Yeah,
just because
yeah,
you
we could
can't,
create
I'm saying, look,
Space
look, look.
stations.
I'm saying just because you can't see it right now. I
But here's
don't
the challenge
think-
with space stations is how do you create artificial gravity, right?
Here's the
Because-
challenge of taking a fucking boat from, like from the coast of France all the way to North America.
But
a
creating
thousand years.
gravity is not in the same like vicinity as a boat ride.
how the fuck is it like walking on water? You think walking
It's
on water
an
is?
advancement in technology that was not fathomable, and then with the progression of technology, it became.
When people were hunter-gatherers, it would be impossible for them to fucking cross an entire ocean. Yeah? It would be absolutely unfathomable. It's technologically impossible for them to cross the ocean. Therefore, it can never be crossed.
Okay.
That's basically what you're
the
saying.
things of flight and like ocean is we have animals that have done that. Like we have birds that have
We don't have
migrated.
animals that go to space.
We don't, exactly.
But we've done it.
Yeah, we've gone to the moon and we've gone to Mars.
Yeah.
Right? But they're
No
not
animal has
inhabitable
done that
places
before.
yet. Those aren't inhabitable places.
But
Yeah, but I'm saying
We
your
haven't gone
analogy
to-
was we
we've
see
seen-
animal do things before.
Yeah.
we've seen.
We've done things that animals have never done before.
It's not like it's a false fucking comparison
Okay,
anyway.
even though okay, so
no
even though
chimpanzee
we've
ever
You don't
created
need to see an
iPhone, but we
animal-
managed to do it.
you don't need to see an animal
here's
to
the thing.
fucking do.
Even if we've done those things, is that enough for us to get to like sustain human life like throughout outer space?
Eventually,
Why
yeah,
the fuck not? Like the
10,000 years,
consensus.
yeah.
Let's just not even
So
take it.
I think yeah, sure. In the word eventually, yes, but within 10,000 years,
Holy shit!
I don't think so. Eventually, yes, but within the first 10,000 or within the next 10,000 years, I don't think.
Why? Like, where's this coming from? Do you know how? Like, this is why.
What's your
what's your
timeline?
This
then?
is why I'm
You've done
laughing.
10,000
Yo,
years,
yo,
you've
yo!
done
This is
much.
why I laugh when you had a problem with whatever. Jason with the scale or whatever. What the fuck is your scale? Like, this is insane. Like, we have had this progress within the last couple decades. Let's assume that we do stagnate, and let's add on a power of 10 or even a power of 100, right? Let's just say technology stagnates for the next 100 years, and this is already like an unfathomable stagnation because technology, like for more productivity, more technological advancement, we've been even getting better and faster at this shit. But let's just say we stagnate for 100 years. That's still the power of fucking like that. Can you imagine 10,000 years of just doing nothing? And this is assuming we haven't all nuked ourselves, that we're all living and shit, and we're reaching like material constraints that threaten the existence of the human race to the point where it's like, hey, we need to figure out a way to get off this planet in 10,000 years, or like we can't fucking do it.
Yeah.
You imagine that
So-
10,000 years we can't do shit.
The way I could actually see us not being able to attain this goal in 10,000 years is actually if we just all die.
Yeah, like we're all alive, and 10,000 years we can't fucking figure out how to live at least into space. Even just in orbit around Earth, you get a shuttle that goes up every so often to bring people back. Even, or even just people just fucking like I don't see how there's this like mental block that you're like, I can't see it. This is impossible.
Have you read Foundation, the Foundation series by Isaac Asimov?
No,
You should read that.
I'll read the spoiler.
It's like 3 books, and they're pretty small.
Fucking, it feels
The main-
good,
the
man.
main-
It feels good,
The
man.
main trilogy is like 3 books.
I feel like
or the main trilogy.
each episode I just I
Yes.
keep a little bit of inside me so that I can unload. One of our
I feel
anniversary
like
episodes.
it's like a therapy session.
It feels great, man.
I think perhaps my roadblock is it won't happen in my lifetime,
It
We're not
absolutely
talking
will
about your
not.
lifetime. We're
and
not-
therefore
Yeah,
I would rather
thank God.
focusing on.
Thank God we don't measure things, our human progress in your
in
lifetime.
Brian's lifetime.
In the,
From my perspective,
if Brian's
this
not
seems
alive
like
to
a moot
see it,
point.
then what's the fucking point of going into space and colonizing these things? He's not gonna be there. Oh, fuck it.
I mean,
Throw in the towel.
space is cool for date nights,
No, but here's the thing. We started this podcast talking about how cell phone technology, smartphone technology is advancing.
Yeah.
And we got to the point of we're like, hey, how is it going to advance more? And we're like, oh, it could be holographs and
Yeah.
stuff. But when we're talking about space flight,
Just complete fuck done.
See with smartphone, I think we like when we're talking about holograms, I feel like that's a whole new technology. That's not even we wouldn't even call them smartphone at that point, right?
right? But it's still
Like-
an advancement off of this.
Sure,
It's
but
an
like
advancement
where
of
smartphone
basic
is now,
smartphone.
I think we're at the end point of smartphones. Like there's not much room left to innovate with smartphones.
Okay, okay, sure, that doesn't matter. But it's not like we're gonna
still.
be stuck on the iPhone 12 for the next 10,000 years, right? That's that's
The
essentially
iPhone-
what you're saying.
The iPhone 12 is likely to look similar to the iPhone 11.
Okay, but we're not
I-
gonna be-
iPhones-
just humor me on this.
Sure.
Let's just say, yeah, we've reached a point right now where the the new iPhone that comes out, it's not that impressive anymore. So for the next 10,000 years, is this what we're stuck with? Just the next fucking shitty iPhone
maybe
2009?
Just say 100 years. 'cause
Okay, fine.
10,000 years
The
is gonna
iPhone
confuse us.
95. The iPhone 95 is just gonna look like your iPhone 12 right now, except maybe in a different color, a couple more camera lenses on it. Like we've plateaued. Do you see that happening?
I could see it happening in the next 3 years.
But like, you
You gotta look further.
100 years, because that's even less than 10,000 years. But I'm humoring Hassan. For 100 years.
Well, we're
When
talking
we're-
about different things.
No. This is quite
because
the
with
same thing.
iPhones, you can change things, whereas when we're talking about space, there's an ultimate goal of what we're
Wait.
trying to do.
No.
Which is to migrate
You see-
people.
No, but you're
No,
saying,
no,
you're
no,
saying
your
we can't
point.
use a different technology
Yeah,
to get
your
into
point
space?
that right now the iPhone 12 is materially and technologically confined to whatever the fuck it is right now, right? Right?
No.
Just then why don't they have some fucking breathtaking new revolutionary iPhone out right now? If we're not confined, we're not limited to the current technological level. Why not? Why don't we have holograms right now? Right now, the iPhone 12 is
Well,
materially.
the biggest challenge with holograms is that there's like no way for light to bounce, right? Like when you look at Star Trek,
Yeah.
they open their phone, the light is just creating
But
an image.
2
But
hours.
the light is just shooting up.
Near
in
2
space.
hours ago, you didn't really have a fucking bone to pick about how in the future we're going to have holograms as a technology, right? As an everyday, almost a consumer technology. There's no bone to pick with that, right? But you can see, like, oh, fucking holograms are just hard to do right now. Eventually we'll have them, though, right?
I don't know. I don't know if hologram is going to be a thing
Okay,
in
well,
the future.
you're just fucking playing, you're just taking the piss right now, isn't it?
No, I don't. I actually don't really know if hologram is a.
Alright,
a
even
thing
just
in
a
the
question.
future.
iPhone 95.
Yeah.
Will it just be the exact same as the iPhone 12 right now?
No, it'll look different.
No
But
shit.
It will likely still be.
Will it use the
functionally
same technology as right now?
Well, that's the thing. I'm not sure where phone's gonna be. We
Uh-huh.
may not use phones down in the future.
I just think.
But within. But what I'm saying is.
And in 10,000 years from now, we might not use spaceships to get to space.
Or we
could
might
just
not
do the
use
Star
planet
Trek
Earth.
We're not
beam me
even
up
use
thing.
fucking phones. We'll use something else. I mean, I think your horizon is just like the next goes out to the next 10 years or something like that.
Yeah, I think it would be my lifetime. I think I'm very confined to my perspective. Of
Right.
what life would be. Like, is there what? I don't know. It's interesting to think of like what life
if
be in
everybody
10,000
was
years.
like that, confined to the limitations of your own lifetime,
But it's not
we
like-
would have no advancement.
It's not like you're saying I don't know what will happen. You say this will not happen. This is I don't
have faith that we would be able to do it.
Okay.
Is what I'm trying to
Okay.
say.
This is like okay.
I don't believe we'll make it. We'll probably try to, but I don't think we'll make it.
Hard limit. We can't crack the genesis of this thought. I don't know what could it be that you are so sure or
No, I'm not
pessimistic.
saying I'm sure. I said I don't believe I'll make it. We'll make it.
What, no, that's what you're sure
Yeah,
about.
it's weird though.
No, that's a belief. Belief is not sure.
But his
I don't
belief
know
is
for a
based
fact.
on no, none of us know for a fact. But
None of us know for a fact. So you can't use the word no.
But I'm like,
It's more of. This is
I
what-
don't
I'm not
consider
asking-
myself an
I'm
optimistic
not-
person, but I still see.
I'm
that
not
as a
saying the
possibility.
fucking. I'm not saying like Jesus Christ will come down and start the Armageddon. I'm not saying something like that. That's just fucking out of fairy tale. Like, you can see us going into space, and you can see us talk about
in the
colonizing
next
space.
10,000 years.
Oh, I'm not even.
Just in decades, we've made it to space. People live in space. We could
It's
communicate
not even
with
gonna.
them
Ta-
and
it's not gonna
everything.
take 10,000 years, man.
At the 1945, at the end of World War II, no one was thinking about going to space.
No.
1969, we freaking landed on the moon.
Yeah. Well, even before then.
And then when we landed on the moon, everybody was like, "Oh yeah, this is the limit."
And they didn't
And
think
now
about
we have
landing on the moon
rovers on
yet.
Mars.
When they sent out Sputnik, they're just like, let's just try to see if we can send something into space, right? They did it. Later on, fucking landed on the moon. Decades.
So I think a big game changer if aliens did visit us. That would be a game changer.
Okay, you believe in aliens, but you can't.
No, I didn't say I believe in aliens. I said that would be a game changer if they visit us.
Why would it change
but
what?
The possibility
Because
of
it would
them
be
visiting-
the idea of like us seeing fish swim, and birds fly.
But it's
but
Jason's point. You've
but
never
you see
seen
it.
anything go into space. We still made a spaceship. We still made fucking rocketry
we
to go
travel
in.
to Mars and moon.
No,
What
let's-
animal did
let's-
you see do that before?
Answer this point.
Those
No,
are small fry.
no, fucking this is Big
How
Fry.
is that? That's the same
You just
thing.
said before,
Yeah.
I quote verbatim, space is fucking hard. Space is fucking hard. It's
I
hard
don't
to
know
go
if
into
I
space.
said that verbatim, but go ahead.
Yeah, that was your gist,
Space
right?
was something.
Space is hard.
It's around the
Right?
I said space is the front.
What animal
frontier.
goes into space? We have
What has
we
humans?
did put an animal into space.
no.
What
What
have
animal
we seen? What
in
has
nature
humankind seen go to space?
goes to space?
From Earth to space.
Sure, none.
So this thing
So
that
it's
you're
not
on
possible,
about
right?
like, oh, it's because we don't see like a precedent. We don't see an animal fucking travel to space. It's that much more harder than fathomable to even imagine some
Because
stuff like that.
okay, if aliens visit us, right, then we would be able to like skyrocket our technology, possibly.
What if it's not? What if the aliens visit and they're dumber than us?
Okay, no.
Well, they
But
wouldn't
if-
visit
if
us.
I mean, like,
if they were dumber
you're-
than us,
Okay.
and we haven't
Look,
found
I'm just
aliens,
saying
it
that
wouldn't make sense for
your
them to
whole
find
thinking
aliens.
about this is based on just like it's not even based on anything because you can say
Well,
the exact opposite.
But here's the
from
thing.
What you
Here's the
advocate.
thing. If the aliens were to visit us,
Yeah.
wouldn't they need some kind of advancement in technology in order to leave their planet to ours?
Yes.
So why?
That's
is
why-
it-
that's
but
why
why
I
is
would
it hard for us to do that same?
No.
No,
but
what
the
I'm
thing
saying
like, he
is-
can't see just human. Like forget all that shit. Just human development. He doesn't see that getting us there. Just us with our technology and the
Oh,
way
like,
we advance.
okay.
Hassan's saying like aliens somewhere did it, so
In
why
order to
can't
get
we?
to
Yeah.
Yes.
So if they did it and they visit us, then that would be a game changer.
No,
is what
even
I
if they
said.
don't visit us,
And
they
that's
have
the-
done it before. Some.
But we wouldn't have known they have done it.
Hey, look, no.
Yeah, but we could still do it.
What if someone can do
Maybe.
it? If some other species or some other civilization, some other life form on some other planet can do it, then why can't we? It's again, we're making the
Without
assumption
seeing
that those
them.
aliens are living on a similar planet with a similar resources.
Basically, the
Because-
whole.
Because I don't like. Well, one is I don't even think alien exists, right?
Yeah, so it's just.
But if they did exist and they did visit us, then yeah, I would change my thought.
I know. I'm basically saying forget
see,
about
then-
forget about the fucking aliens because that just puts you on another track. This one
I
track.
just want to talk
This
about
one track that I don't see why you're saying that you just don't see it, that you think it's impossible. This hard fucking block. I don't see where you even get that.
You make it sound like an absolute. It's more like I don't believe we'll make it.
No.
But
You
you're
you
saying
did
we
say it as an
won't make it.
absolute.
Yeah, in the next 10,000 years, I say we won't make it, but I don't believe we'll make it in general.
10,000 years. That's the absolute. Like you don't think we'll make it in 10,000 years?
in the past 10,000 years, civilizations have reached their pinnacle and collapsed, and you don't think that in the next 10,000 years we can
Make it to space?
make it to space?
Yeah. Not to the level of like living and sustaining life. No, I don't think so.
Well, I don't get it, but I think we've talked about this.
Yeah,
in
I think
circles, so.
we
Yes, you-
circled out this one.
If you have opinions on this, please let us know in the comments or Twitter. Whatever.
We found your spirit and not even spirit animal. Your trope.
What's
The
your trope?
1850s guy. How can you
There's so
fucking
much
send?
that humans have done that
How
we've
can
never
you
seen.
send a horse into space? I
You
don't
know,
see it.
I
It's
do,
impossible.
I do think humans are amazing.
What is
We've
this
never
technology?
seen people or animals or anything use like nuclear energy or
Yeah,
anything like that.
yeah. I
So
think
it's
we've done incredible things.
I just
without
no.
having
I
witnessed it before.
I think your time horizon only goes up to like maybe 10 years or so. Like after that, it's just
It's like
just,
blank. It's like
It
a
is
black
blank.
wall.
Like there's no way that you can.
I do think
figure out
I do
a-
think it is possible that I live based on my lifetime.
All right. I'm gonna remember this, because then I know that you like to fucking make predictions about future shit, about a lot of other stuff. I'm gonna fucking nail you on that. I will fucking nail you from
So
to
this-
this day forward to the rest of our living lives. I will nail you on this
This
shit.
is like that cancel culture where like you wait for that one moment.
No, it's not like that at all. I'm just gonna fucking nail you on it because you're just all over the fucking place.
I
wa-
out on this.
I
So,
think
like, in
this
the-
is like having justice.
Listeners out there, you're all witnesses. to
This is
too.
when I become prime minister, and then you're like on the plane.
why would you be prime minister?
Well, I'm just.
That would take a lot more than 10 years, man.
I can't see this happening.
This is something I literally can't see happening.
Me,
There's no
prime
way.
minister in 10 years.
Yeah, we'll reach space before and colonize it before you become prime minister of anything. All right, man. Let's fucking
Alright,
wrap it up.
alright.
This marathon episode. It was 2 hours 15.
Okay, so we're wrapping it up then.
Hey, last words and shit.
I was gonna say that that Area 51 storming thing didn't.
Yeah, because people didn't want to have fucking bullets in them.
There's like 70 people.
I do think it was a good meme overall, though.
It
There was a
was.
lot of
one
good jokes.
One girl did go under the gate.
Yeah.
And
Got arrested.
well,
I read
and
somewhere.
there was the one dude that got popular off it,
Actually-
the Naruto run.
Yeah, he actually did the
The main guy. The main guy that hosted.
He got more fame than the girl that actually tried to go under the
he
gate.
did the new run during the newscast, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. Actually, it was funny because at my workplace, a customer was ordering these military bases in Europe, and like
Wait, what?
She's
like
ordering?
imagery,
Thank you.
Okay, Trudeau.
like imagery.
Thank you for clearing that up.
But it was funny because like with Europe, we blurred them, right? And then they got mad because like, oh, we can't see anything. I'm just like, who's ordering these? I feel like they're like terrible.
But you can order the Canadian military bases photos either.
No,
I don't think you can order any military bases imagery off.
Well, okay, so the way like say Google it works, right? You just fly like a grid. So you capture whatever you capture, right?
Yeah.
And then areas that are restricted, either you can't fly it, or if you did flown it, they would ask you to blur it out.
I know, but I'm just saying I don't think you can actually buy.
Can't. Those aren't for sale.
He-
Can you?
You can't actually get imagery overhead.
Well, in Google Satellite, you could just go to those. If you knew where the military is, you could just zoom in there. Generally, what will happen is those areas gets blurred.
Yeah, no shit. That's what I mean. Like you can't actually get a fucking detailed photograph.
Right, but
of it.
if say Google made a store and you could just order based on area, it would just come out as blurred.
That's it. I know. Fucking. That's still. It just means that you can't see. There's no way you can
Right.
order a detailed,
So-
crisp, non-blurred, non-doctored picture
So
of
some-
a military
the
base.
question is, why are
someone
people ordering?
had that expectation, and then the other question is, why are they ordering it? And I thought that was fun.
Yeah, I
That's a
think it
very
was just
fucking-
funny that you can't answer a fucking question like, directly.
No, you're saying why can't you order it? I'm just telling you could order it.
No, I said
So
you,
these people that ordered it, they were expecting clear photos. Is
Yeah.
what you're
They
saying?
were angry that they were blurred.
So like they went to Google Maps, they saw us blurred, so they tried to order it to see if it would be a
yeah,
clear
and they were angry that was blurred, and I thought it was hilarious.
Okay.
my brain is so smooth today. It's just shaved.
Verbal laxative
Yes.
makes it go down smooth.
3,000, just 1,000 grit
Oh,
sandpaper.
actually, no. Sorry, one more thing. I thought it was really hilarious. Okay, so there's an app that track runners. Like, so you would run and then
I
it'll
think you
track your
talked
GPS
about this
and stuff.
before.
Yeah.
You talked
And-
about this before.
And it's something different. And what happened was the military had to step in and delete the apps because a lot of their people at the base
We're jogging.
were jogging.
Oh, yeah, you already said this. All right, I'm gonna cut this part.
And the
When did I say this? This can't have happened. Because I only heard about this like this week.
Are you fucking kidding me?
the
Well,
thing with that
moving
is
on.
Wait, no. Wait, I don't want to make sure I'm not living in bizarre world. No, none of us has heard this story before.
I don't recall.
Where
I
the
don't
joggers were
know.
jogging the outline of military bases.
Yeah, I've heard this before.
Unless-
Yeah, but it wasn't
you.
from me.
unless
It
you
was
guys
from
talked
you.
about
No,
it like
man.
off podcast, maybe.
It couldn't have been me.
I don't recall hearing this. So.
Oh, fuck's sakes.
I didn't say this out
See,
loud.
I really
But
think my brain
anyway,
has
I
become
was just-
smooth now.
I was just gonna say, soldiers running around military bases or forts in 1850 probably didn't think about the fact that they'd one day be tracked, right?
I know. It's impossible for them. They would. It's unfathomable. Impossible.
But the thing was, like,
witchcraft.
the whole GPS, and then so because they were outlying bases, they had to like get everyone to stop using the app and delete that data.
Fuck. You know what? Now we're gonna have to listen to the past episodes, see if you said it.
No, I only learned this
Who's
like
gonna
a
do
couple
that?
of days ago.
Our viewers can chime in and let us know if we actually talked about this before.
I'm sure I
right?
talked about other stuff. About
No, you
Not
talk
our
about
viewers, our listeners. Why do I keep saying viewers?
Audience,
man.
we'll just go with audience.
Listeners
I think
are
viewers-
Could be viewing YouTube and it's just the still image. But
I feel like
But
that's
they're
the
listening
future
to
for us,
us.
isn't it?
yeah,
Is to be viewed. one day?
regardless, they're listening.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good note to end
This-
it
All
on.
right,
Like, this
all
is
right. Yeah, that's good.
This
Thanks
is,
for listening to the podcast. This has been Verbal Laxative.
yeah, and like, comment, subscribe wherever you hear this, and tell your friends,
Yes.
and listen to this, and just have your brain melt out of your ears.
All right, guys.
Yeah, things are getting runny.
All right.
All right.
Full crew. See you guys next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.